In the journey of love and relationships, we discover the sacred divine reflected back in all we see. Aloha, shifters, dreamers, light guardians, and lovers across this beautiful holographic matrix. My name is Brendon, aka Mystic Spider-Man, Skull Babylon, welcoming you back to another Paradigm Shift Central team podcast that we do every Thursday live at 8 p.m. EST to be able to help open your heart, expand your mind, and to be able to help build community and bring people together who are actively helping assist with the collective shift in consciousness. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. If you guys are tuned in on YouTube, do us a favor, drop those 1111s down in the chat and we'll get things started into tonight's discussion on the spiritual wisdom of love and sacred unions. Obviously kind of themed around the whole idea of Valentine's Day as we're leading up into that, but a great topic to be had at any point nonetheless. And of course, I am joined once again by fellow amazing leading members here within the community. So fellow leading members here within the community, go ahead and gently unmute your microphones as we bring all of us on screen here real quick to be able to make some noise and send some love and welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining in tonight. We love you guys. We love you. Woo, woo, woo.
Love you.
Love you.
We love you.
It's like collective like Reiki being sent through the internets right now to you guys. Beautiful. Awesome. Well, thank you again, everyone. As we get things started off, I'll just do a quick introduction to be able to show you who we have on the within the circle here tonight. And again, these are our leading members, people within the community who are active creators, who are active conscious leaders. And so again, my name is Brendon, Mystic Spider-Man. Most of you guys already know me. And then from there, I'll just introduce at the top of my screen from left to right, we have Amanda. So Amanda, you can just wave to the camera there. There's Amanda. Welcome back. And let's show some love to every single person as we introduce them. Curtis, back once again. Thank you, Curtis, for joining in. And of course, we've got Maureen joining in, one of our newer leading members. Thank you, Maureen, for being here, as well as Mason, also one of our newer leading members. Thank you, Mason, for joining in. And we've got Kai back once again. Thank you, Kai. Wonderful to see your smiling face as always. And we've got Z ready to go asleep as always. This is like basically we're just gonna like be like her like lullaby. So Z, thank you for joining in. And we've got Abbey back once again. Thank you, Abbey, so much for being here as well. So just as a quick introduction, first of all, if the audio and the video is a little bit out of sync, we'll get that fixed as we go, so don't worry too much about that. And again, if you haven't already yet, be sure to connect to the links in the info for this video to be able to follow up with more happening in the community through our Discord channel, as well as listening to these episodes on Spotify at Paradigm Shift Radio. You can also support this entire project through Patreon with a monthly contribution, and that's how you can join as a leading member, which gives you access to joining these weekly on-air team podcasts, full access to our Discord chat, access to be able to help get involved with more things happening in the community, and lots of really cool things to be able to help support you on your journey as a conscious media creator and leader. So if you're just looking to be able to connect further with the community and just want to be able to help support, definitely check out that Patreon. And again, you can support at various levels there, get all sorts of perks. And thank you as always to our Patreon supporters who help make this possible for the community. So with that said, we'll get right into a little bit of a meditation, and then we'll get right into tonight's discussion. And with tonight's topic, we're going to aim to keep it under 2.5 hours is the intention. So we'll keep it short and sweet. It's really like new moon vibes right now, so I feel like everyone's just kind of like very like mellow and chill, and we're gonna ride into that, you know. Like this is an important discussion, but it doesn't have to be like, I mean, compared to juxtaposed to last week's discussion, which was all about spiritual wisdom of play, and now it's just like, let's just practice being like nice and like quiet and gentle and chill and nurturing. So thank you again for joining us and helping co-create this space. And for those of you on the YouTube chat, you are a part of the discussion. So please feel free to add your voice as we move through tonight's topic as well. By the end of this broadcast, be sure to connect with the fellow leading members on air through finding the links to their profiles in the YouTube info below. The links will be posted throughout the episode as well as afterwards. So if you're listening to the recording of this, go ahead, check the YouTube info, and you can connect to their Instagram and their TikToks and so forth and so on. So all the links you need are in the info for this video. Thank you as always, everyone. Go ahead and screenshot this at any point and share it to your Instagram stories and tag me at Mystic Spider-Man to invite people to tune in. And with that said, let's get right into a little bit of a meditation, then we'll get right into tonight's topic. So if everyone wants to just take a moment here, just kind of allow themselves to just get nice and comfortable, relax, and we'll just really bring it into this space of self-love. So when you're ready. Okay. And yes, I can see the video and the audio is a little bit of those things. So like I said, we'll fix that as we go. So, okay. All right. So thank you again, everyone, for joining in. And again, just taking a moment here to recognize the genesis of this discussion topic, where it literally just started as a little regular group meeting that I used to do in a yoga studio every Friday, and now here we are broadcasting to a global audience, and this is still that same sacred space, just in a digital format. So let's just drop into our heart space here and really just honor the intention of showing up for each other as community and sacred mirrors to be able to see, learn, and grow together. So when you're ready, go ahead and gently close your eyes. As you close your eyes, begin by just connecting with your breath. Soft, gentle inhales. And soft, gentle exhales. And just feeling the breath rolling in and out like the tides of the ocean, gently kissing the shore. Allow your breath to just feel like poetry, whatever that means to you. Just feel its gentleness, feel it nurture you. And feel yourself, nurture yourself in this moment as you bring awareness to your heart space, to gratitude. And just holding gratitude in your heart for you, for showing up, for being a part of this discussion, for practicing listening and sharing, for growing alongside together with the team. And from here, we'll gently just imagine all of us in a circle once again. And maybe we're on a beach with a campfire, or maybe we're in a forest, or maybe we're in a yoga studio, wherever you choose to imagine. And just take this moment here to be able to see the sacred divinity within all beings who arrive here within this circle, to see them as an extension of yourself. And what does that mean to you? And to just be able to express your gratitude from your heart, to be able to honor them, to thank them, and to really just be able to take a moment here to drop into this shared vibration of love. And this vibration, we will carry it with us throughout the discussion tonight. So just allow yourself to feel the love, feel the support, feel the gratitude in this moment, feel the growth we are moving through together. I'll stop talking here for a moment and just be in this space. Just be in this love and feel it. Just feel it. Go ahead and just take a moment here. And as you gently breathe here, you can quite literally feel the love of everyone tune in right now, even listening to this in the future. Everyone, can you feel that? Can you literally feel that love? Like, what is love? We'll talk about that tonight. And love is this very magical force. It has the ability to transcend space and time. Can you feel it? You can. It's right there. Maybe add a soft, gentle smile to your face, even if you want to just give yourself a hug, feeling the love and support of the team. Continuing to hold this visualization of all of us just sitting in a circle, eager to listen, to learn, and here to have fun. And just taking a moment here before you conclude this meditation to just allow yourself to speak from your heart. What's one thing you want to say to everybody here in this circle? Maybe a sentence or two, some words of encouragement, something to nurture their spirit, something perhaps in theme with tonight's topic of love and sacred union. Just take a moment here. What do you want to say to everyone here? Just allow yourself to receive that love in return. As you breathe here, maybe just straighten up your spine, open up your chest, relax your face, and just take another just gentle deep breath here. Gentle inhale. Exhale just with a little bit of a sigh. Nice gentle. We'll just do one more of those. And exhale, gentle sigh. We'll keep this vibration within our hearts. We'll keep this visualization within our mind's eye. We'll carry it with us throughout the discussion as we sit cozily here in a circle, listening and sharing and opening our hearts together. And gently from here, we'll bring our awareness back to our physical body. And when you're ready, slowly wiggle your toes, Wiggle your fingers, continuing to keep a gentle breath, and slowly open your eyes and return your awareness to the space around you. Beautiful. Well, thank you again, everyone, for helping us just set the intention here. And it looks like Z's already asleep, so we accomplished that mission there. That was pretty early on. So Z's just gonna meditate throughout this entire podcast, so that's totally cool. All right, wonderful. Thank you again, everyone, for joining. Ren, thank you for joining in. Ren just joined it in, so we got Ren in here, and everybody else again: Abbey, Z, Kai, Mason, Maureen, Curtis, and Amanda. And we may have a few more people joining in partway through, so we'll welcome them in as we go. So, for those of you in the YouTube comment, please feel free leave a comment in the chat. What was the message that came through for you that you wanted to be able to share with the team, with the collective? And the message that I had, it was something along the lines of like, your love is love and love is all there is. Like something along those lines, where it's just like really emphasizing the idea that it's just like all is love. All of this is love. This entire journey is love, and love is what is needed, and love is what is, and you are that which is. So beautiful. All right, so with that said, if you guys are ready to get into tonight's topic, main discussion, go ahead, drop some 1111s in the chat. I'll just read a couple of the comments on air real quick as they come in. Kevin Kai in the chat saying, you're so loved. You're never alone. I love you. And we'll read a few more of those as they roll in. There's always a little bit of a delay there, but nonetheless, we will get right into tonight's discussion. Becca, one of our newer leading members, says, I love you, but not as much as you should love you. Beautiful. Flash says, I just felt hugs and wanted to give hugs. Hugs, hugs, hugs. Beautiful. Ab says, this love is patient, kind, and balanced. Wonderful. Maureen says, yes, exactly. I love all of you. Thank you all for being here, says Dawn. Thank you, Dawn, as well. For those of you who may just be tuning in for the first time, go ahead and drop a 333 in the chat, and we'll just kind of welcome you in here to the community. And if you are here for the first time, then yeah, you're in for a treat. So, all right, let's get things rolling. And again, I know the video and the audio is a little bit out of sync, but we'll get that fixed up after we pass the mic once or twice. So, all right. With that said, here we go. Today's topic is on the spiritual wisdom of love and sacred unions. So, of course, in theme with Valentine's Day as it approaches, it's a very omnipotent, it's a very powerful time within the collective where we take this opportunity to be able to reflect on what is love, what does it mean to us, how does it show up within our life, and perhaps how can we bring more of it into our world and into the relationships around us. So on the theme of this topic, I'd really love to just kind of be able to like open up the discussion and just invite people to be able to share a little bit about what love means to them. And of course, we're both talking about love for ourselves. We're talking about love for another. We're talking about love that can be both romantic, but also platonic as well. So there's going to be a little bit of a broad spectrum on this, but we'll also be talking about love in the context of sacred unions. And by sacred unions, again, I don't think there's like a specific definition as to what that is. If anything, who's to say what is and isn't a sacred union, but we'll keep sacred unions kind of in the context of, like leaning more towards what people would identify as soulmate relationships and twin flame relationships and things of that nature. And we can talk about this together to be able to help create a little bit of clarity. But this is a very powerful discussion, and it's not the first time that we've had this topic covered here within the community. Back in June, we almost did the same topic previously, but it's always a powerful one to be able to go back to. So when we come back to it, where are we when we arrive at it here and now? And so I think right now, just to be able to speak from my heart in this moment, I think it's important now more than ever to be able to consciously talk about love and to be able to create that intention to bring more love into this world. What is love? I mentioned before, love in itself is almost like this cosmic force. It seems to be like this primordial energy that exists through all things. I don't think it's just one thing alone. It seems to be the flow. It seems to be the flower. It seems to be the energy that moves through us, that creates through us. But love in itself is also something that I think appears when we are in relationship to something. Love is something that evokes awe. It is something that evokes a presence, and it is something that has the power to heal. It is something that has the power to transform. It is something that has the power to alchemize, something that has a power to transmute. And so I think, again, when we think about love, I think when it's easiest to be able to identify what love is, sometimes it's to be able to juxtapose it to when love is absent. Because it seems as if when love is there all the time, it's almost as if, we kind of take it for granted, so to speak. But when there are times where, love may be absent due to circumstances, we see what happens, like things wilt, things wither, things do not receive the nutrients that they are required to be able to thrive and grow and learn. And so much like you would water a plant with water, how too can we water each other with love? And so I think in that metaphor alone, it really just brings this emphasis of, let's fill ourselves up with this water. Let's fill ourselves up with this love so that we can bring more of this love into the lives of others. So we can talk a bit about, again, self-love and how to cultivate self-love, and how even at times when the love may not be something that we're receiving from an external source, how do we get into the habits and the routine to be able to tap into the infinite love within our hearts to be able to cultivate it? Because I think there is kind of this duality where, yes, love is something that we receive externally, but love is also something that we cultivate internally. And so when we are doing both, then it gets to the point where it's like, we almost become like we can conquer anything at that point. And it's amazing how when we are in a place of love, it gives us this strength, it gives us this bravery, it gives us this courage, it gives us this enthusiasm and this inspiration to want to do things, to want to help people, to want to be able to like push through the odds, to conquer any obstacle, to be able to speak our truth and to share, what it is that comes through us, that moves through us. So just on that, I'll pass the talking stick around, and again, I'll talk a little bit later on more of like the concepts of soulmate relationships, and I'll talk a little bit about my wisdom that I've gained through relationships over the years. I'm blessed to currently be in a relationship that I perceive to be as a soulmate relationship. Many of you know with Paper Druid, with Lacey. She may be jumping on partway through, but if not, that conversation, me and her might be doing a separate podcast on that. But nonetheless, through the one thing I'll just say, and then I'll pass it over, and whoever wants to jump in, just go ahead and put your hand up now. Who wants to jump in like close to the start, and we'll pass it over to the next person when you guys are ready. So Curtis, Kai, and okay, so we'll figure it out. Kai, I might just pass it to you, and then Curtis, and then from there. So the one thing that I'll just say when it comes to, because like, yeah, we can talk about self-love all day, like that's really exciting, but I think like a lot of people be like, ooh, like talk about the juicy stuff, talk about the relationships, talk about that stuff, because again, I think that's something that we're naturally drawn to. And so one of the pieces of advice that I've received over the years, and this came to me from one of my mentors, was this idea that every relationship prepares us for the next one. And growing up, this was a very, very powerful concept, because it really began to shift my perspective on how even heartbreak can become something very powerful that transforms us, that helps us grow and helps us understand more of our own values, what it is that we seek within another, what it is that we seek to cultivate within ourselves. And then again, being able to prepare us for aligning with that next relationship as well. So I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And you guys are welcome to talk a bit about your own journeys, not just of the fact of falling in love, and not just falling in love, but rising in love is kind of the way we can change the wording on that, and being in love, and how we create love, as a vibrational field that we can invite people into, and what that looks like. But also again, how we have learn to love ourselves even deeper in the wake of things such as heartbreak and things like that. So it's one of those things where we have the power to be able to look at any circumstance from an empowering perspective. So how can we look at the times within our journey where our heart might have gotten broken, our boundaries might have gotten crossed, but through that, we found something within ourselves that might have been something that was cultivated as a result of the community and the support around us, and we hold each other up, we hold space, we hold sacred space, and then through that it brings us into another version of who we are. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about breakups and breakthroughs. We'll talk about vibrational frequencies, twin flames, soulmates. We'll get into that, and I'd love to hear some thoughts from the team as well. So with that said, we'll pass it over to Kai, and then we'll pass it over to Curtis, and then we'll just kind of keep the talking stick going. And again, at this point, really just holding space for you guys, for everyone here as a team, to talk a little bit about, when you guys think about love, like what comes to mind? What do you get excited? What do you feel what wisdom would you like to share? Would almost be kind of like something that I would encourage us to lean towards. What wisdom have you acquired through your journey of love, realizing you are love, cultivating love and relationships, platonic, family, romantic, and so forth and so on. So with that said, we'll keep things passing along here. Kai, when you're ready, we'll pass over to you. So everybody here, give a nice warm welcome to Kai. And Kai, when you're ready, go right ahead. Welcome. And please feel free to briefly introduce yourself.
Hi there. Well, first of all, I love this topic. My name's Kai. On Instagram, I'm mindfully abundant _. And on TikTok, I am Kai Tai Kevin Q. I am a transformational coach, MD turned coach. I guide meditation and yoga as well. Love, it's something that I've been personally exploring, and also with my clients. And a lot of it has been around self-love. And I'm sure we'll talk more about the different elements of love. But like Brendon was saying, it's not so much of a falling in love, because falling in love is almost like something that it's out of your control and something that just happens to you. But like Brendon said, it's like rising up in love, or it's kind of like a standing in love. Because love, I learned a lot about love from one of my favorite psychiatrists, Eric Fromm, and he has his book here, The Art of Loving. And he describes it just like that. Love it's an activity. It's like an art form. And it's not something that's like passively, it's not something that just, one day hits you on the head and just, it's just butterflies and rainbows. But it's something that you have to stand in. And sometimes like with relationships, it gets hard, but it's like, can you still in those moments give love and also receive love? But giving is just as much as important as receiving love. um my first experiences of love, I was like 6 or 8. I kind of had my first girlfriend, and she was like my puppy love. And from there, I think that was the start of my helpless romantic kind of persona career. Because for me growing up, it's like romance and like, just romantic love and like finding the one is always like, it's like the constant like storyline in the background of my life. So it's like with age, with experience, and I'm sure we'll talk more about heartbreaks and like, like mess ups and failures. It kind of gets to the point where you just kind of keep breaking open, and you keep breaking open to the point where you've broken open so much, like you're just like, you're just like an open heart. And love, like Brenda was saying in the intro, it's something that's like, it's timeless, and it's like beyond like space and time. And I always think about the movie Interstellar when Anna Hathaway kind of has this breakthrough and she's like, it's love. Spoiler alert, it's like, it's love. It transcends like gravities and like all the different dimensions. And before I conclude it, it's kind of surreal. In May, last May, when the pandemic was kind of hitting, I was with my ex. And at the time, I was like starting a blog. I was going on to the online world, and in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna write like a blog article because I read someone to like get big, like publish an article like somewhere. So I chose like Elephant Journal, and I wrote a little love poem, and it was for my ex. But I think it's kind of it's timeless, and I think starting this team podcast with the love poem in mind might be little seedlings planted. So this poem's called "A Little Thing Called Love," a poem. I want to learn about love. What is the size of love? Exactly how big is love? My girlfriend always asks me, "How much do you love me?" So it got me thinking, Is it small? Is it large? Does its size fluctuate? Maybe it's like a slinky that contracts and elongates. Or maybe it's like one of those Russian dolls that has various sizes within sizes. Or maybe I'm thinking of this all wrong. Maybe love doesn't even have a size. Maybe love isn't a quantity, but a quality. Oh gosh. Maybe I've been thinking about this all wrong. Maybe love is infinite. Oh geez, where do I even begin thinking about the infinite? Maybe I should just stop thinking about it altogether and continue replying to my girlfriend's question, how much do you love me? Beyond which words can describe.
Aw, thank you, Kai. It wasn't now I feel like it's like oh quick everybody bust out your love poems like. That's beautiful. Kai, anything else? Any other wisdom to share? Or we can always share a little bit more as we go. So
Yeah, I would say just be patient. It's a practice, and like every part of you is so lovable, and it's our mission in our journey now that we're like adults, to love every piece of us and to love ourselves in some ways that our parents might have were unable to. But yeah, now that like responsible adults, like we gotta be those unconditional loving adults for the little children in us.
beautiful. Well said, Kaya. Absolutely. And again, like that's there's so much to be able to talk about here, and we'll just keep the talking stick moving. But again, like what I think is quite evident is the idea that if you look at this from one perspective or another, some people will say like everything happens to us for a reason, some sort of reason, whatever that reason may be. But very simply put, if we were to think of it from one perspective, at least, not to say it's just be all end all, it's like everything that we do is actually a part of the soul's journey back to self-love. It is actually the journey of self-realization and how to love oneself, So again, that's where, for me personally, when I look back on my past relationships and my heartbreak, would I do them again? If I were to like relive another incarnation, yeah, I probably would, like I probably would. And it's interesting to kind of like have that sort of like perspective and even to be able to bring that into future relationships of a degree of maturity, where you can honor the fact that two people will come together when they're in a vibrational match. And then over time, as people change, their vibrational frequency changes. And then if they change, they naturally will go in different directions. And I think if we as humans were actually taught this, it would really change the game, because it would create this context of like you fall in love with a person and you're feeling this gravitational pull, these heart twangs, this energy that brings you together, and you're being brought together because there is something within inside of them that is helping you see something inside of yourself. But ultimately, it's also this idea of what if we were to show up in a relationship and really be able to almost explicitly, but also just kind of implicitly be in this awareness where it's just like, hey, like I really feel called to be with you. Let's dance this dance as long as we're meant to, and enjoy it and be as deeply present in it as much as we can, knowing that it won't last forever. Like knowing that this in itself like is a transient thing. If you were to kind of like, not to say I'm asking or I'm telling you to, but I think again, and a lot of times, like when we move through love, a lot of times it's the attachment that we create to love that often causes a lot of the suffering. So it's like, can you move into love? And I'll just say this and I'll pass over to Curtis. There's more I want to say on this, but I don't want to take up too much of the talking stick right now. Where this, and again, this is coming from my own wisdom. It's the difference between holding on to love versus simply holding love, holding it up, like holding it like a flower. Like imagine love is like a flower that you hold in your hand. If you just hold it in your hand, it's beautiful. You can admire it for what it is. And maybe the time will come when the wind will carry the flower away. That's not up for you to decide. That will happen. Again, because, the vibrational frequency of people, it changes, it evolves over time. And what if we were to celebrate that? But just going back to the flower metaphor, the difference being opposed to holding on to love. What happens if you hold on to that flower? You crush it. Crushes in your hands, and then you but sometimes we have to do that. Sometimes we have to do that to be able to like go through the to gain the wisdom to be like, oh, that didn't really work. Like that did that, like I like maybe there was a different way, not to say you did it wrong, but again, you know, it's just like one perspective of approaching the journey. But imagine if we were to kind of like be taught this as a society, as young youth and adult, where they are able to move into a relationship and to honor that this relationship that they may be in, where they may be like, oh, like I'm so in love with this person and I want to be with them forever and I want to be with them forever. But what if we were to celebrate and honor the idea that you'll be with them as long as you're meant to? And I know that sounds weird because it's almost like deterministic, but it's literally more so honoring the idea that when two people come together, it's because their vibrations are in a shared frequency, they match. But as time moves on, people change. And as people change, their vibrational frequency changes. And as their vibrational frequency changes, they don't become a match anymore. And then instead of thinking of it as a break up, instead we can think of it as a breakthrough, you know, like a breaking through into that new level of who we are here to be. And so just that perspective in itself, I think is very beautiful because again, you know, by the time the relationship ends, it will still be sad. It may be a little bit messy because we're still human and we fumble and slip and fall on our face all the time. That's part of the journey. But at the same time, you know, what if we can really just allow ourselves to step into a deeper place of love where you say, you know what? I want what's best for this person, whether or not it involves me. And I think when you allow yourself to reach that level of spiritual maturity, it's very, very powerful. And it's something that I didn't know that, you know, it was something that I had to kind of like learn through, and through my own experience, I'm like, oh, that's what deep love is. Deep love isn't, you know, holding on to someone because I really, really love them. Deep love is holding someone up and simply wanting the best for them, whether or not it personally involves me. And honoring their journey and honoring their path, while also understanding that even by them moving in one direction, it encourages me to move in another direction, and that direction at the very least may be inwards. So all lessons of love and sacred unions, they lead us back to loving ourselves. And when we're aware of that, we can really kind of move through those lessons with a little bit more of a conscious awareness, with a little bit more grace. And not to say it'll make things easier, but at least we can see the light. We'll keep the light in our heart, where even in the midst of breakup, we'll be like, this too can make me stronger. This too can bring me into another level of myself. This too will get me ready for that next relationship. But remember, the most important relationship that you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. So before you can attract that next relationship, maybe you have to cultivate the one first. You do have to cultivate the one first. But again, that's up for each and every single one of us to kind of learn in our own way. So anyways, let's keep passing the talk and stick around. I appreciate you guys just allowing me to share there, and hopefully that just kind of creates a little bit more context as we move through this. So I'll pass over to Curtis in a second. Who wants to go after Curtis? Anyway, just go ahead, and then again, once we kind of go through this, we'll just get more into popcorn style. We got Amanda, Abbey. I think Amanda, you want Amanda to go before you, Abbey? Okay. And then yeah, and then we'll just keep passing things around. So Curtis, I'll pass over to you again briefly. Please feel free to briefly introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the spiritual wisdom of love and sacred unions from your perspective. Welcome, Curtis. Let's give a nice warm welcome to Curtis.
Hello. My name is Curtis. I'm really interested in nature, and very fascinated with the process of nature and this ever evolving light that takes us into, you know, where we're going. And that's what I want to talk about. Love like this, love like the ever evolving. You know, it's not just here on Earth. You know, that we're that we this love comes from. This love actually comes from the galactic center. It comes from the source consciousness that's guiding us through this beam of light. That's the light, and you know, want to talk about actually a lot of things right now. I'm going all over the place. I do that a lot, but I'm just gonna start off with relationships, like talking about karma and really who you are as a person, and the fall that your soul has endured on Earth, and why you came here on Earth to pass through these gates of karmic, you know, relationship debts. You know, we have people that we love on the on a certain dimensional level, like our, and there's things that we relate or resonate with all the time, that our soul is searching for. This is our soul's mission here, is to just be ourselves, and we go through these searches for love. I totally relate to Kai about like searching for the one and being in that, and that's like, if you're aware of that, you're actually really highly like evolved spiritually, because you're not settling for certain things, but also at the same time you're pretty, it's like a naiveness of it, but that leads to really really good relationships, really love filled relationships. And my experience with a really really hard relationship, I had, I think you can have interest with people and want to do the same thing. Though my ex actually introduced me to what I am called to be now. You know, my ex brought me into permaculture, which is regenerative agriculture, and that person introduced me to all these concepts and ideas. And then that person was, when I met them, they were at they were very highly spiritual, like they were themselves. And me actually, that was my first real relationship. My first real relationship, I was like 19 years old. I had no idea. I'd never been through a breakup. I just had crushes, obsessions, and stuff like that. And so I didn't really realize what who I was to her, and what I thought I was to her, or what you think you are to someone. And that's actually the crushing part of it, the crush. Um, and that person ends up making me a little bit weaker, and that's why I want to go into karmic debts, and the and how astrology kind of makes us hold on to things, an idea of how things work. Um, Astrology is really good and all, and this goes into the twin flame kind of like transcending through the matrix, like the difference between your soulmate. We have chemistry imbalances, and we have also our soul's mission. All this chemistry and astrology. We hold an identity for it. That doesn't. There's relationships that transcend past that. You're incarnated here at a specific time and day, but that doesn't mean that you're like structurally meant to be a certain way. And I like to say twins flames transcend over the time matrix, or the matrix that we live in. So that relationship is going to be ever like evolving you. And twin flames, they actually do part ways. They don't even realize they're twin flames when they part away sometimes, because of the matrix. And that's when what I want to go into the concept of nesting and perfect nesting and DNA has a way of, like, you look at DNA, it looks like a little spiral, and it's just think of you and your twin flame, just like that, where you're going in and out. And the perfect nesting is where you're going in and out, and then there's a big loop that comes around, and that's where everything meets, and that's that spark, that perfect nesting. It's like your DNA, and it's we are harmonic in our wisdom, for each other. That's what a relationship should be for. It's not about really holding, making the perfect image, like that. There's so like, go on Instagram, you can see all this, what a relationship is, what a love relationship is, but it's all about harmonizing with the wisdom with each other. And you'll be able to you I believe that everyone's going to be able to really have someone they really love in their life. And I pray for a lot of that, because sometimes you think is right, and it's not. But that's all I want to say. Much love to everybody.
Much love. Thank you, Curtis. Everybody here, let's show some love, give some love to Curtis, and for all the speakers here as we move through the discussion tonight. Thank you, Curtis. So beautiful. All right, we'll keep things moving along here. As we get through things, I definitely want to take a moment to be able to like I'm curious to even just kind of like do a little consensus on like what's everybody's definition of twin flame and soulmate, because like I have my own interpretation. And again, like my approach to that is I, both for myself and others, I encourage us to kind of like find a definition that we can hold in a healthy way. Because honestly, I feel like there are some definitions of like twin flame stuff that actually like perpetuates unhealthy behavior. Like it's almost like I've seen it like on TikTok. Like I'm not speaking ill about it, but I've looked at it. I'm like, ooh, like that's gonna lead to some unnecessary attachment lessons or something like that. We'll talk a little bit about that, but personally, I found a definition that for me, I understand it. It makes sense for me, but I'm curious. I'm curious to hear from you guys. We'll get to that a little bit later, but let's just keep moving along here, and we'll pass it over to Amanda. We're passing over to you, and then Abby, we'll pass it over to you. Who wants to go after Abby, just to be able to get a scope on things? Does Z want to go after Abby? Wake up, Z. No, I'm just joking. She's clearly asleep, so that's cute. Maureen, we'll pass it to you after that then. So with that said, we'll pass it over to Amanda. We'll keep things moving along, and once we've gone through the circle once again, we'll just kind of get into popcorn style. Let's give a nice warm welcome to Amanda. And again, for everybody here, if anything that the creators say resonate with you, drop some 1111s in the chat, and also be sure to follow their Instagrams. We're posting their Instagrams into the YouTube chat as we go, and even feel free to send them a DM or send them a message on one of their posts and let them know that you've enjoyed what they've had to share. So with that said, let's welcome again Amanda. Thank you so much for joining, and please feel free to share spiritual wisdom of love and sacred unions and introduce yourself as well. Welcome, Amanda.
Hi, I'm Amanda, Baby Yoda. I don't really have a definition for love because I'm still trying to figure that out. Growing up without any kind of I don't even know how to say this. Not really having any like role models for what love is supposed to look like, because everybody in my life was toxic, which in turn I ended up being toxic. It's been really hard to try to figure out what a healthy love is supposed to look like, and it really came down to my kids teaching me what love is supposed to look like, as well as being with this community and all the other communities that I've come into from this, and the healing that's come from that, and really trying to figure out what that is within myself so that I can allow it within my other relationships. So that's been quite the process. I've done a lot of healing in the last year, because I think it was April of last year that I found Brendon. So I've been with this community for almost a year now. So it's been quite the process. I've done a lot of healing, and I've done a lot of healing within myself and healing my own inner child and all of those wounds, and being able to really appreciate who I am as a person, which allowed me to let other people appreciate me and allowed me to appreciate other people. And I think it really comes down to that appreciation and just accepting people for who they are and what they bring into my life and what I can bring into their life. I think that's basically what love is to me, just appreciating the people around me.
It's beautiful. Thank you, Amanda. Very well said. So wonderful. Yeah, and again, like that's I really encourage you guys to, even within your discussion tonight, like please, like feel free to like speak on the experiences of love that we cultivate here within community. Like this entire community is a practice of both like sharing love, embodying love, and rippling it out into our lives and the world around us. So again, the love that we're talking about tonight, like it's not just romantic love. It's really just like love for a community member, love for a stranger in a way, love for an animal, love for our pets. Like obviously, like I think of my love, like I've really been reflecting a lot on love, like obviously with Dallin and everything like that, and just as an update from those of you tuned in, he's still going. Every day's precious at this point. He's still out there eating snow and stuff like that, but it's love, and I'll talk about this, we can talk about this a bit later on, I'm just going to pass it to Abby. Love is the highs and the lows. Like, that's, you can't fall in love without eventually it hurting at some point, you know. But at the same time, sometimes like the hurt is what makes the high so beautiful. It's the yin, it's the yang. It literally is. Like, the only other choice would be to like opt out completely, sort of thing. But it's like, oh, you want to experience love, like, okay, enjoy it, but it won't always be like that. You can do your best to be able to cultivate presence even within those challenging times, and that's the thing that's even really powerful, where it's like you can still experience love even in a less than desirable situation. You know, you can, like, say for example, like when it comes to like loss and things like that, you can still feel whatever you feel while still feeling the depths of love. Like, you wouldn't be able to feel so deeply if it wasn't for the fact that you love so high, so to speak. So again, I don't think love literally is this thing that we need to pretend is all just like fun and everything. Like, no, love is like a deep like sense of presence and awareness. It's very primordial, but it will carry us through even the hardest moments as well. And we'll talk a little bit later on about, you know, even within the concept of sacred union, you know, aspects related to like the wisdom of like holding space and showing up for partners in mindful ways, even when things get challenging. Like that in itself is a big part of sacred unions. It literally is like, you know, being there for your partner when things are a little bit crappy and things are challenging and stuff like that. Like that in itself. But again, that is like, it might not be fun, but it's still like a very transformational experience when we show up to it with that perspective. Let's keep things passing along here. We'll pass over to Abby. So Abby, give me a thumbs up if you're ready there. And Abby, when you're ready, let's give a nice warm welcome to Abby, and please feel free to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about spiritual wisdom of love and sacred unions. Welcome, Abby.
Hi guys. I'm Abbey, Ab's Archive on Instagram and TikTok. Love for me is really caring deeply and connecting with someone and being able to respect them and nurture their pain if needs to be. That's what love is to me. I've seen that through my parents, and I've seen through hard times and bad times, they always can hold space for each other and they will always keep evolving together. And then I also, in the last 5 years, have been in a relationship where it wasn't the healthiest. And I wasn't even aware of how unhealthy it was until it was really bad. And throughout my spiritual awakening, even though things were doing okay, I had to say, we need to keep taking steps back. I was one to even say, if you need to go be with someone else, go be with someone else and see how that is. And we've been able to come back and try and communicate and work things out. And we still don't have a definitive answer, but we hold each other in hard times like this last year, regardless of a title of a twin flame, soul partnership, anything. We have held space for each other, and that's love. Moving forward, going through this new shift, I've had to get down to my own core and define my own new definition of love, because whatever I was experiencing throughout my life was not real love. I mean, it is, but it was not the healthiest. It could have been real love, could still be real love, but what it was working was not working. And so I was holding a lot of things inside of myself, and being able to connect with this community, I've been able to see myself in literally every single person, even Mason and Maureen. This week, I was on both your meditations, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I love these people. Like I so feel them, so feel them, and it inspires. It awakens. It awakens you. It does. It shifts you. Like, whoa, where have I actually been? Where was I not loving myself enough to show up for myself in certain ways? Um, what else do I got? So anyway, going back to your core, breaking it down and being able to talk to yourself and get a good communication with yourself in your head is self love. um, I used to be all about the very surface like level of self love, like let's take a bath and let's do our hair, brush my hair a bunch of times, and make myself feel really really pretty. But then this week I realized, whoa, this is a new kind of self love that I'm getting into, one that I literally never expressed to myself, I think, ever. I had very bad coping mechanisms growing up for my own self doubt or whatever. And I evolved from them. And through that, I kind of got unhealthy relationship habits. But I've had to break through that and now go to my core and realize again, what is love? It's, as Brendon says, it's formless. It's everywhere because even even when you've been your worst person, people can still love you. And even when some people have not been the best to you, they can still show respect and care. So yes, that's my little thing about community and love. And I could probably say a lot more, but I'm gonna pass it now.
Thank you.
I
Thank
love you
you.
guys. I love you all so much. Thank you for shifting me all the time.
We love you too, Abby. All right, here, let's show some love for Abby. And again, be sure to we posted a link in the info for the YouTube as well. So be sure to connect there, and as well as the other creators. So beautiful. Awesome. Thanks, team. Absolutely. And again, just I'll just a quick thing here, and then we'll pass over to Maureen. Again, like that seems to be like the case of what happens with relationships, is that, you know, through relationships, through all of these journeys, they help make the unconscious conscious. And that's what the journey of spiritual awakening is. It's slowly this process of being able to become more aware of our nature, things that we do that we might not really consciously do, that we might not realize that we're doing. And again, kind of like speaking on what Abs is speaking about, again, from my own experience, you know, through my early years, like I didn't have my first like real relationship until I think I was like 22, 23, give or take. You know, like some people were dating in high school, but none of the girls thought I was cool enough or something like that. I don't know, go figure, right? But anyways, once I got to those relationships, you know, it was like through those relationships where I would see myself show up in ways where I'm just like, oh, like that didn't work. Like that didn't, like I didn't do very well there. Like I didn't communicate my needs, or I didn't listen properly and things like that, or I was projecting, or I was like, you know, like carrying some sort of wound that I was like putting onto someone else or something like that. And that's a part of the process. And I think when it comes to relationships, it's always important to be very gentle with ourselves, and not just with ourselves, but with our partners, and to get very curious opposed to getting judgmental. As Abs was saying, instead, let's get good at holding space. When you see your partner, maybe, you know, they might be kind of like having a day where they might be feeling like, you know, they just need some space, then you can honor that. Or they might be kind of like projecting some sort of antagonistic attitude or something like that. You can clearly set a boundary and be able to say like, hey, you know, like, is there something else going on that you want to talk about? You know, like, should we go for a walk? Like, do you want to do this? Like, I'm here to, you know, be able to meet you in a space that works for both of us as well. So I think, again, you know, there's ways that we kind of like evolve our self-awareness that allows us to be able to show up in how we communicate within the relationship. And then the one thing, I'll just say this, you know, Pastor Maureen, a very, very powerful idea when it comes to relationships. Instead of thinking of it, and this isn't even just romantic relationships, this could be anything, instead of like thinking it from this perspective that it's like, say for example, you and your partner get into some sort of argument, instead of being like, oh, like, you know, it's like us versus one another, it's like someone has to be right and someone has to be wrong. What if, and again, relatively speaking, what if instead we shifted our paradigms where it's not us versus each other, it's us versus the situation. So let's come together and let's work together and let's see things from a higher perspective, and to really be able to kind of like, again, you know, understand like if there's something that's coming out that's like projected as frustration and anger and sadness and things like that, that instead of just being like, oh, like screw you and stuff like that, again, relatively speaking, set your boundaries. That's super, super important. But again, what if we as a partner can be able to see that and be like, oh, there's a part within them that still needs more love. How can I hold space to that? And again, the big thing within not just relationships romantically, but any relationship, the power of holding space where you don't heal the other person. That's not what you do. Like, I don't think we heal each other. All we do is hold space for one another to heal ourselves. Relatively speaking. But I think again, when we as partners can get good at that, instead of feeling as if it's our expectation to heal someone else, but it's like, no, let's just get really good at holding space for each other and then allow the healing to naturally occur. If that makes sense with you guys, go ahead and drop in at 11:11, and we'll keep things passing along here. Maureen, thumbs up. We'll pass it over to you if you're ready. And who wants to go after Maureen? We still have Mason and Lauren as well. So we'll pass over to Mason afterwards. So, all right. So with that said, Maureen, one of our newer leading members, let's give a nice warm welcome to Maureen as we bring Maureen and pass the talking stick over to you. And Maureen, when you're ready, please feel free to briefly introduce yourself and share a little bit about spiritual wisdom of love and sacred unions. Go right ahead, Maureen.
All right. Hi, everybody. I hope you can hear me. So my name's Maureen. I have recently, very quickly, awakened. I was born, I think, in a very dark mindset. And then I kind of came out of it as I was growing up, and then like life kind of took me down again. And there's one thing that I always repeat right now, because it's like kind of my only truth. And it's that when I was a child, I remember feeling like I loved everybody, like I was in love with everybody. And I was like, why does nobody love me back like this? Like, I don't understand why nobody has this unconditional love. And I think that being rejected like that constantly is what started this negative person inside. And when I had my daughter, I hit a chemical depression, and I went so dark that I took like a beautiful relationship that I have and like blew it up way out of proportion. And there was even a voice inside of me that was like, if you go down this path, you are going to see some stuff, like some darkness that you are not going to be able to take back. And I was like, oh, stop it. I'm in a bad mood. Leave me alone, you know? And it was kind of like fighting this both sides. And until I got to that point of being so dark that I ruined something I liked, I wasn't able to clear out any negativity. But once I did, once I kind of like saw my darkness, I was able to meditate. Actually, I meditated on it for the first time ever in my whole life. And it brought me to pure tears, this overwhelming sensation. I shake just thinking about it. That all the whole purpose to life, or at least to my life, is love, in the sense that life force is love. How we as humans perceive life force, we perceive it as the emotion of love. And so everyone has love for one another. We just don't choose to perceive it. And that's why we think that there are many different types of love, because we choose to channel it differently between different entities. But in the end, it's all just pure unconditional love. And it just depends on how afraid we are of expressing it with the entity in front of us. And that is how we decide what kind of like relation we're going to have at that point in time. So that's kind of all I know on that. As far, oh, I'm shaking. Sorry, love is just crazy. My first like true love experience. I got married at like 21, and I was like head over heels in love, to the point of like blindness, basically. Of I think I was trying to prove that I could love anybody, no matter how incompatible we were. And like I had to go through that relationship and realize that this was not turning me into the person I wanted to be, before I was like, oh, we can actually choose where we put our love. So that was pretty eye-opening for me. Yeah, the fact that like I still love that person. I don't hate them. We went through a lot. It was terrible, but we still have like a connection. We still have love. It just wasn't right for that moment. Um, like you can't hold on to it. Love is just, it's like a flow and you just follow it around. Yeah, you can't lose love. Love just moves, in my opinion. And as far as relationships, um, I think the best way, like I've been trying to open up because I'm in a great relationship where my partner like was really patient and like watched me open up and like come to light and come to love. And what I've learned from this is that even he gets dark, he gets like down. I think you can now see it, like I can now see it because I've opened up. And the best way to help those moments is simply like flooding that moment with love. Like if you're both, even if you're both heated and you're just like, man, I don't know what this is going, I don't know where it's going, just stop and just be like, I love you. And watch the whole situation just fall flat. It'll have no more meaning. So, yeah, that's about all I have.
It's very powerful. Thank you. Thank you, Maureen, for sharing. Beautiful. If you guys resonate with what Maureen said, be sure to show that love in the YouTube comments. So wonderful. All right. Mason, you want to go next, correct? Yeah, cool. One thing I'll just say here, just in like literally just like 30 seconds. I think again, one of the things that I love about love, and we'll talk more about this as we go, and again, this kind of comes with maturity. I think it's almost like something that I think is instinctual, but it's something that we kind of have to remind ourselves, where I feel again, like a healthy version of love, because I think that's the thing, right? Like kind of Abs was kind of talking about this, and I was thinking about this idea that love, like a forest, has an ecosystem, but when you start putting different things into that ecosystem, it can start to lose its balance, so to speak. So what does healthy love look like? What does a healthy ecosystem of love look like? And that's a big discussion, but one thing I'll just say here real quick and pass over to Mason is that I think again, love is in its deep form, it's asking not just what you can get, but what you can give. And so like when I think of my love for my partner, for Lacey, and even my partners of the past, one of the things that I loved about love was the ability to be able to like help raise people up in the same way I do for you guys. Like quite literally, like I literally love you guys. It's a different type of love. It's very much the same love, but it's a different context where I want to be able to see you succeed in your dreams, to support you in achieving your goals, to see you grow into the potential that I see within inside of you. So I think a very powerful perspective of love is being able to see through the wisdom of our heart and to look at someone and to not just see them as who they are in this present moment, but to see their potential, to listen to their dreams, to listen to their story, and to want the best for them. And then to kind of reflect within your own heart and be like, how can I support that? Not because I'm supporting it for some ulterior motive, but literally because seeing them succeed is something that I feel called to do. And it lights me up too. And I think that's a very, very powerful way to be able to approach relationships where both partners are less so much in a codependent, but rather in a co-facilitation of lifting each other up and rising together in love. So again, that little shift, opposed to being like, oh, falling in love, be like, let's rise in love. Let's spread our wings in love together. So Mason, I'll pass it over to you. And Mason, one of our newer leading members, jumping right in. Let's give a nice warm welcome to Mason. Please feel free to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about love.
Hello, everyone.
Everything you want to share. Go ahead.
Thank you, Brendon. I'm Mason. Also, I'm Cosmic Landings on Instagram and TikTok. And what I've learned through love through my years is that really it's patience. For me, love is like coming back to the heart, coming back to a space where you can meet someone equally and see them as yourself, see them as the divine soul just in another physical body. And then this is a way that we can choose how we would want to express what we can offer to another in hopes that it's reflected back to us, or if it's not reflected back to us in the way that we might desire, that might just mean that, like Brendon mentioned earlier with the vibration, that vibration is no longer a match. And it's kind of just an ebb and flow going around and around. And one day you might find something where it really resonates and that sticks. And it, one thing, like an analogy I like to use for that is it's like you have this coloring book that's like dusty on the shelves, you've never touched it. And then one day you open it up and you realize you have all these markers that have been waiting for you, and you can color it in any way that you want. And the love to me is realizing that I have all these colors and that I can put them anywhere I want. I can use them intentionally. And these colors and pictures that I'm painting is love. And if I can bring that into my relationships with other humans, I'm passing on my most ideal state of love, my definition of love. And I'm sending it to others, I'm sending it to all. And touching on one more aspect, I wanted to talk about how love is childlike. I think as a child, all of us love. And as we grow older, we almost like we get like bruises or like dents in a car, like when we feel like we can't love because of those bruises or dents. And then it's us realizing that we can love through those that allows us to feel more love. It kind of what we spoke on earlier, like a breakup isn't always a breakup, but it could be a breakthrough. And yeah, I mean, I definitely haven't always had that perspective of coloring in with all the pastels or markers or pencils. Like that took time, and it took breakthroughs, breakups, breakdowns. But when it comes down to it, it all just is love. And yeah, that's what I would like to share tonight. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautifully said. Let's give a nice finger snaps there for Mason. Thank you, Mason. Wonderfully done. Especially again, just love being able to see people jump in for the first time, and you guys being able to support them. And it's like, oh, it's so lovely. Like this is like this entire community. Like it is. You know, it's like that's why I think a lot of people are attracted to this community, because they can like feel the love. It's like a very very tangible sense of love. It's like, oh wow, like people here like really care about each other, and this is like something where in today's day and age, it's bizarre as it sounds, it's like it's not as common as we might hope, you know. So when we do find a space where there is this like palpable love, it's like we're just like, whoa, like this is like this has a flavor to it. Like this tastes like taste isn't the best word, but like there's something to it where it's just like it feels like something very 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 powerful. So yes, Mason, thank you again for sharing. And I know some people were kind of talking about the love languages. We can get a little bit into that again, just to be able to help people understand a little bit more about that concept. We're gonna pass it. Lauren, did you wanna jump in next? I know Kristen just jumped in, and welcome to Kristen as well. So if one of you wants to let me know who wants to go next, and we'll pass it over to you. Pass it over to Kristen next. Is that what we're doing? Okay. All right. So the one thing I'll just say real quick is one of the things that's really, really powerful about love, and Mason was kind of referring to this, was, you know, how can we as partners love people for who they are, not who we want them to be, who they are, and to really like honor them in the journey they've been through. Like that in itself, if you were to just think, like, be like, imagine what it'd feel like for someone who would see you and to see your scars and to even see your shadows, and to still have them genuinely show up and like look you in the eyes and be like, I love all of you, you know, like literally just kind of like hold your face and just be like, I love all of you, because I am that too. I am those scars, I am those dents, I am those shadows, and I love you too, you know. So I think that in itself, like if we can offer that to each other, that's incredibly powerful. Again, relatively speaking, because I think at the same time there's a caveat to that, where when it comes to love, at the same time, you know, like we don't literally have to be naive in the sense of like if someone shows up in a way that may not really be like where they're projecting something or something like that, like you can love that, but you don't have to necessarily be like, that's okay, like, oh, that's, you're just being an asshole, that's okay, and stuff like that, you know. Like sometimes love is really like kind of like not just calling people out, but calling them in. And that's something that, you know, like kind of comes with like another level of maturity and things like that, where I think in some relationships where if people do kind of like experience where like, again, someone kind of like starts projecting, where it's like, how do we as partners and even as friends and stuff like that, just be like, hey man, like, you know, like again, speaking of, if it's to a friend, and be like, hey man, like I just want to let you know that like what you said, I feel like, you know, maybe there was like something deeper there that wasn't actually about me, but maybe there was something else there. And whether or not you hold space for that, or whether it's just you setting a healthy boundary or something like that, that's important. Anyways, I'm just trying to say there again, you know, like me saying, oh, love people completely for who they are. You can love them for who they are, but that doesn't mean that you have to tolerate their toxic behavior. You know, like that's basically what I'm saying. So again, love within relationships, first and foremost, is you creating the healthy boundaries for yourself and saying, this is what I welcome in, and this is what I set my boundaries at, and this is what I don't tolerate. And again, and that's something where, again, you know, even in those relationships where things may be challenging, they're also teaching us how to get more clear on what it is that we do want by sometimes experiencing what we don't want, you know? So like that's ultimately like a very powerful perspective, where it's like all of us who've gone through those relationships where things get a little bit codependent or toxic and things like that, like if we can bring that wisdom out of it, it will allow us to say like, wow, you know, like out of that relationship, like I'm not going to go back to it, but I'm glad I went through it, because it helped me learn more about my self-worth. It helped me learn more about how to create healthy boundaries, how to communicate better, how to be able to navigate those spaces, and to really get clear on what it is that I do value and things like that. So I'm sure a few people can relate to that as well. But again, you know, at the end of the day, I think one of the most important things with any relationship is communication. And this is coming from someone who in my past, I wasn't the best at communicating. And that's where some of my relationships actually kind of like began to kind of shift and stuff like that, was where like I wasn't communicating as best as I could have. But now it's something that I've become, again, I've consciously become more aware of it. And now it's part of my regular routine and my intention. And again, one of my love languages. Real quick, the love languages: words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. This is something that you've probably heard of before, and it's kind of like this kind of chart where people can kind of gravitate towards certain love languages. I also feel it's kind of one of those things where it's just like, you know, as we kind of go through our own healing, I feel like all of those things are actually very, very useful things within a relationship as well. But words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, physical touch. Which ones do you prefer? Which ones do your partners prefer? And how can you show up for them? How can you give them the love that they're looking for in a relationship? And again, we'll talk about this a little bit further on. I just want to get over to Kristen. It's okay to have needs. I think we should all be very clear on having needs, you know, like, oh, one of my needs is, you know, talking on the phone, having conversation, spending time, acknowledging each other, creating art, doing fun things and stuff like that. Have needs. Like I think some people, they kind of shy away. It's like, oh, I don't want to be needy. I don't want to ask for too much, because I think like, and this is a deep thing, and sorry, I know this is a bit of a tangent. I feel a lot of people, again, you know, the experiences that we go through when we're adults in relationships are often opportunities to heal the wounds related to love from very young ages, you know, such as this is like the most common thing when we were young. If we were in a relative circumstance, we were either told that we were too much or not enough. And then because of that, we get very reluctant on like how we communicate and communicating our needs. And it's like, oh, like we almost like don't do it because we're just like anticipating the idea that like we'll get shunned. And then we get kind of get crunched in like this and stuff like this. So again, you know, I think love in its healing form is being able to hold space for another and to be able to say and invite them and be like, no, like communicate to me your needs. Like I honor your needs, and then I'll do my best to meet them. And then again, you know, love kind of comes this thing where it's kind of like we're really tight, and then it becomes something where it becomes expansive and open, and you can really breathe and like like love is like a full breath. Like that's what love should feel like. It should feel like a full, rich breath. And if it feels like it's then there's something to be worked on there. And that's okay, because the journey is one of healing. one of learning, one of growing. And as we help our partners heal, we're also helping ourselves heal, and we're also seeing ourselves step into the role of a healer. So it's very, very, very powerful. So honoring where we are, and again, just holding space for each other as we move towards where we're going. Let's get ready to pass over to Kristen. Thank you guys. And again, if that resonates with you, drop some 1111s in the chat. And yeah, Kristen, one of our regular leading members, thank you so much for joining here. And Kristen, when you're ready, please feel free to introduce yourself and any wisdom you'd like to share for tonight's topic. Welcome.
Hello, beautiful souls. It's so lovely to see you guys. I'm so excited to share this beautiful space together tonight, and with the people that are usually here, our brand new friends. I love each and every one of you guys. So my name's Kristen, Pinoak Rising on TikTok or Instagram. Love to me is such a special, special treat, something that we get the opportunity to experience as humans. And I think that love can be expressed in so many different forms, and being able to allow yourself to play with the different ways of love is absolutely beautiful. But for me, love is showing up. Love is Dr. Z sleeping on the Zoom call because she just enjoys being in our space and company, and for the support that she can share. And so it's like, love can look however it needs to for you as an individual, but just understanding that when you show up and you share loving spaces, love you, Z. That, you know, you're really just sharing from your heart with other people, and being able to share love for me is one of my love languages. Like, I get so much joy out of just being able to share a smile or a good job or just any kind of form of love for me. So I just appreciate the spaces that we get the opportunities to show up and share love. And I really am grateful too that Brendon brought up the fact that there, you know, sometimes there are negative factors to love. Sometimes we experience, you know, situations where even in friendship loves, where it's like, hey, I may not always feel that love for you, but understanding that I'm going to be there for you because I hold love for you. I'm going to understand where you're at on your journey right now, and I'm going to stand by your side because I've been there too. And, you know, so for me, love is just always really being able to come back to that heart space and check in with where you're at or where the other person is at, and being honest. I think too, being able to love people that have hurt you too is really powerful. It can be a really, really beautiful tool for you to say, you know, hey, you've hurt me in my life, and that's okay. I still love you. I still cherish the, you know, memories that we've had. I still honor the beautiful moments that we've gotten to share. But I also love myself enough to say that this is not good, and then I'm going to set my boundaries. And so, you know, being able to set that love for yourself is kind of where it starts, and then you can truly be able to love other people. And so yeah, just setting a solid relationship with yourself. And what does it even mean to love yourself? Like, understanding your own love languages, so that way you can better communicate with others how you prefer for people to show up, or how, you know, love being expressed works best for you. And I think that that's a really powerful tool to be able to share with the people that you love. If they know that your love language is hugs, then, you know, they're able to see you and say, oh my gosh, I'm going to give you a big hug because I know that's going to make you feel loved. And then they get to show up for you, just as you get to show up for them. And so, yeah, this is a beautiful topic. I'm so grateful to share space with you all, and I've absolutely cherished all the wisdom each and every one of you has shared tonight. So thank you so much for letting me share.
Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Kristen. Love what you had to share as well. So, all right, team, let's just keep things moving along, and then we'll get into a little bit more of the popcorn style. So, Lauren, would you like to go next if you're ready? We can pass over to you. Okay. All right. Wonderful. All right. So let's give a nice warm welcome to Lauren, one of our relatively newish leading members, a few months in now. And Lauren, if you can just adjust your camera down so it's a little bit more framed up, and go ahead and give yourself a nice introduction, and for everybody here, a nice warm welcome. And when you're ready, go ahead and share your insights and perspectives on this topic. Welcome, Lauren. So.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't want you to see my dinner plate.
Oh.
It's okay. No, you won't. So hey guys, I'm Ren, or Lauren, whatever you want to call me. I'm on Instagram, Living Zen with Ren. Love is more of a foreign topic for me. Like as of recently, it's something I've more started to curate in my life. I had a lot of really bad root chakra and like anger issues growing up, and a lot of bad toxic relationships until very recently, where I'm in a beautiful 3-year relationship with a person that I'm literally like, how do you exist and why do I deserve you? And I had to let that kind of sense go because I was so used to having, like my parents got divorced very early when I was a kid, and I didn't ever see love around me in my life. And so having to like re-educate myself on it and for myself see it through my lenses has been very eye-opening. But this relationship I'm in now has taught me more about love than I think I ever knew before, and it's opened up my heart a lot, and not just to like romantic love but love in general and what that is. And it's made me form closer bonds with my family when that was never like a possibility for me. And it's helped me come into a beautiful loving space like this and actually feel that. But like if I would have come to a space like this years ago, I would have been like, I don't deserve you people, like you're just faking it, like you just have to say that, like, and it would have been hard for me to accept that. So I think love is just having to, I think love is being present, like we were saying, and having the space for yourself as well to go within and to like really feel what that is. Because we all have, like I think Mason said, wounds and scars that leave damage on our souls in a sense. But it's up to us to like not let that penetrate us and to make us better and to keep persevering, keep getting up every time we're knocked down. And that's what love is, like being compassionate with yourself and others. um, that's what it really means to me, and I see it more and more every day now than I ever have because I've opened up my heart to that. So I hope you guys see that in yourselves and others around you as well, because love is beautiful. Like to not be able to live like that is just like, what's the point, you know? So thanks, guys.
Wonderful. Lauren, thank you so much for joining in, and again, beautifully said. So wonderful. All right, well, so at this point I want to just be able to invite again, if there's anybody who, based on things that have already been said, if there was something that came to mind that you want to be able to like jump in with now, just go ahead and gently raise your hand, and we'll just kind of keep the popcorn style going here. And again, one thing I'll just hit upon this, and this is just me like talking off the top of my head, but again, I think it's interesting to be able to observe how the idea that there's like there are different types of love, and when I think of love, again, I think the vision that comes to mind, I know this sounds kind of silly, but I think of wolves. And I think of like the way how, like, if you look at like wolves, like kind of out in nature, not just wolves, but like a lot of animals, you think of wolves and like, you imagine like younger wolves playing with each other, and they're kind of like bouncy and playful and nibbling at each other. And it's very like, again, just kind of like sporadic and very like high vibe type thing. And then again, you get also times where like the wolves might be kind of like the mature wolves and stuff like that. It might be kind of like, like a male female, like an older wolf, and it's very like gentle and wise, and if you've ever seen like kind of like soulmates who are older together, like that kind of love where it's very just kind of like, it's like a slow wave, it's like shh. And then at the same time, you also get this other version of love, which is this love that can be very like fierce, and it's like the love of like, it's the love of like the alpha wolf, or like an alpha mother defending her pack, or something like that. Like say if like a predator comes, like they will like, get away from here, and like that's not them being like, oh, that's not like, no, that's actually still love. Like fierce love is like worth noticing. Like it's a powerful form of love, right? So I think again, we can invite in this idea that love is not this thing that is opposite of fear and anger. I think love is literally all encompassing. like I don't think there is like there's relatively speaking, there's hardly any emotion that we can experience that cannot exist within the context of love. So even the concept of the yin yang, you know, we have this idea of like the white and the black, and the white and the black, and the black and the white, and people kind of create this narrative that it's like, oh, one is light, one is dark, one is love, one is hate. I don't really think it works that way. For me, I think it's actually more so that like the circle around the yin yang, that's love. Like literally, like the circle around the yin yang is love, and then from there it's like the light is like, again, kind of, it's light, and then it's shadow. It's shadow and light, you know, opposed to shadow and just like black and darkness. To understand that shadow is, again, just kind of like the spaces where the light isn't always shown, but you can't have shadow without light, you can't have light within shadow. But really just going back to the idea where, you know, in today's day and age, we can embody fierce love, and I think we need to. And I think that's a powerful thing, where it's kind of like this, again, this very like primordial warrior archetype, where look at the state of the world that we are in now. There's a lot of weird stuff happening, and there's a lot of things that I know for some of us, like it doesn't sit well with us. You know, it's just like, oh, like I don't like the way that things are going right now. And how can we, like the mother wolf, be able to be like I'm gonna stand up for this, you know, I'm gonna be a guardian, I'm gonna be fierce, I'm gonna speak my voice. And it doesn't always have to come off as like being overly, you know, like aggressive, but it can be that fierceness that we bring into our passions and into our work and into our devotions and into the way that we show up as conscious creators and leaders, because it's just like, I love so much that I am willing to go to war, that I am willing to stand, that I am willing to fight, that I am willing to, again, you know, like if I see, if I'm back in grade school and I'm in grade 5 and a bully's picking on my friend, love is what will motivate me to step in between them and to say, back off. Like, get out of here. I know, like, bite you. Stuff like that. Like, literally, like, grade 5 Brendon, watch out. He would have bit you, I'm sure. But anyways, but again, you know, like, I think love is a very, very dynamic thing. And I think if we can honor the idea that we can still be, like, fierce, and that we can still be, you know, again, I've said this before, you can, like, anger is love in disguise. Often, relatively speaking, because the reason you're angry is because there's something happening that doesn't sit well with you. There's like injustice happening. There's something that you're just like, I care about this and it's being taken advantage of. There's something off. That's actually love. And fear can actually be love too. You know, the idea of just like, oh, like people think like, it's like, again, within the spiritual community, it's like, oh, don't be, you know, like, don't exist from fear and stuff like that. It's like, can we exist from fear and love at the same time? And I think fear can actually motivate us, because if we fear something that we love being taken away from us, then we can allow that to motivate us, you know, like, so at some points, you know, like to avoid fear would almost be to kind of like, to numb ourselves from the realness of what it is that we care about. So if there's things in this world that maybe you're a little bit fearful of, things that are happening that you don't fully feel right about, honor that fear as the fact that you deeply care about the things that you want to see happening, you know. And it's not just the idea of like fight against things that you don't like, but again, stand for what you do. Be a guardian, be a light guardian, you know. So I just kind of wanted to be able to put that out there, where again, you know, like being a partner and being a loving member of community, it's okay to carry the variety of love where it can be fierce, you know. And I think we do that a lot here within our community, where we're between different broadcasts. Sometimes our broadcasts are like very chill, mellow, very deep, and then sometimes they're very like playful and fun and dancey, and then when we need to, they can also be very fierce and stern and focused, you know. And that's all love. That's all love. So let love be this energy that we can shapeshift and that we can turn into different things as we need to. And it can become a sword to cut things. It can become a blanket to wrap things around. You know, it can become like an offering that we share. Like it can become many things. Love is like it's like this beautiful energy that we shapeshift, and we shapeshift it with love. We use love to shapeshift love. So anyways, that's what just kind of came through me right now. Cause again, I just want to be able to lean away from this idea that, you know, spirituality and everything like that means just like, oh, you gotta be all unicorn farts and everything like that. I know we've all heard that joke before, but anyways, I honor fierce love, and I encourage us to embody that in a way. Stand for yourself, stand for what you're here to create, stand for your friends, stand for your family in love. We need that. We need that more than ever. So, all right. Who wants to be able to jump in? You guys don't have to reply. It doesn't have to be on that. Again, we've had a lot just kind of shared so far, but we can kind of, does anybody want to respond off anything we've said so far? Because otherwise we can kind of like segue into, again, I'm curious to hear what your guys' thoughts are on twin flames and soulmates and stuff like that. Remember back in the day when no one even knew what twin flames was? Remember when times were simpler back then? Now everyone knows, talking about twin flames and stuff like that. But anybody else want to be able to? Kristen, do you have your hand up? Do you want to be able to jump in on? Are we pointing at something? I don't know. Anyways, you can let me know. Kristen, did you want to jump in?
Absolutely, Brendon.
Yeah.
I would love to.
Okay,
I was pointing to Maureen because she had her hand up, and
Maureen.
I would love
you're
to...
pointing like, yeah. Your guys' screen's different from mine, so down wasn't okay. All right, Maureen, did you want to jump in first? No, someone want. Okay, all right. So, well, Kristen, did you want to jump in then? On anything?
Sure.
Okay. Anything again? You know, I just love to hear just again, kind of like your guys' wisdom and lessons that you've learned from love over the year. Anything else you want to expand upon? And yeah, we can get into the soulmate and the twin flame thing, but I'm not in a rush to get into that. But if we want to get into it sooner rather than later, that's fine. Anyways, passing over to Kristen and the magical. What is that? Is that the alien? But is that Lacey?
Yeah.
Oh. Lacey,
Yeah.
you're on air right now. I think Lacey might be listening right now still. So, anyways,
Yeah.
and there's the happy taco. The happy taco's right there. So, for those of you who are listening to this on Spotify, Kristen and Lori, who are in the same place right now, they bought like plushies. They made they got an entire family of plushies, and they're all like members of the community. It's really, really adorable. But apparently, I'm a happy taco. So, aww. Anyways, Kristen, pass over to you, and Lori, obviously you're there as well, so let's give a nice warm welcome to Lori, and anything else you guys want to be able to share, go right ahead. So.
Absolutely. No, I would love to talk about the first of all, yes, thank you for the plushies. They've actually been a beautiful act of love that Lori has shown me, just, being able to come in and share her love of play, and, being able to just be ourselves without holding that, judgment or expectation of the outcome. And for me, that's really what unconditional love is. It's being able to say, I'm going to show up for you, and I'm going to love you. I'm going to understand that we're not always going to see eye to eye, but I'm going to love you unconditionally. And that means no conditions, So if I come to a place in my love and I see myself putting conditions on it, then I kind of stop and ask, and I reflect that back to myself, and I say, where is this condition coming from, where I need more love in my own life? And so for me, my journey with learning lessons in love has been absolutely about learning how to put that love back into myself, so that way I can better show up for others. I know for me, I spent 5 years in a marriage with a man who was suffering from alcoholism, and I loved him so much. I wanted to see him succeed, and so every day I cleaned the house, I paid the bills, I made sure whatever needed to be taken care of was done. And for me, that was my way of showing love. But I didn't realize that what I was doing was I was actually keeping him from being able to love himself, because I was kind of doing the things that he needed to be doing. And so for me, learning how to know when to love and how to love in the best ways for other people is so empowering, to be able to help them along their journeys, and just maintaining those like positive interactions with each other that are going to help encourage growth, as opposed to the type of love where you're so codependent on one another, where it's like you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, I need this person's love, I need to hear them say that, I'm beautiful in order to feel beautiful. And so that kind of creates the situation where you don't really know how to feel that love from yourself, but you're seeking it from others. And then that can be taken away, right? Like that can go, because people are not bound to one another. We're all sovereign beings. And so just learning how to love yourself and love the person that you're with as their own individual, and not trying to hold those expectations of, I'm gonna love you always, not I'm only gonna love you if you say you love me back or if you show up for me in the way that I expect. But I'm gonna understand that some days you may need to love yourself today, and that may mean that I don't get a chance to talk to you, or maybe you need to spend time in outside doing something. And so just really being able to understand the different types of love, and how we can show up for each other. So yeah, that's I wanted to add. Lori, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I'll wait till later.
Okay,
Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Kristen, and thank you, Lori, as well for being there and for sharing the love. So, wonderful. Okay, so we'll keep things moving along here, and I did just want to be able to take a moment here to welcome in Selomon and Shannon. Thank you so much for joining in. We'll pass the talking stick over to you in a moment, and thumbs up if you guys are ready for that. And yeah, again, it's good timing on that, actually, because I did just want to be able to kind of like transition things into speaking a little bit about examples of kind of like soulmate relationships and what healthy relationships look like, and for us to just be able to speak from experience, and really for everybody here, not to say like, oh, you have to have like the perfect relationship at this point to be able to speak at this, but even in the relationships that you've shared in the past, at what points for you did they feel like really important, really nurturing, really meaningful, and we can draw upon those. So again, when it comes to twin flames and soulmates and stuff like that, I'll just hit upon this real quick, and then we'll pass over to Shannon and to Selomon for them to be able to share their wisdom on maybe speaking a little bit about their relationship and why it works the way it does, and we'll introduce them as we pass it to them. Real quick here, because I don't even want to spend too much time on this, but twin flame stuff. So yeah, again, a part of me is just like, do I even want to get into this? But I'll just summarize it real quick, just for context. My understanding of twin flame, just real quick, but even still, honestly, I feel like it changes. For me, twin flame, and this is kind of based on teachings by Matt Kahn, who is a conscious speaker, but he explained it in this presentation. And if you look up Matt Kahn, Mattkhan, there's a lot of videos that he just done on relationships, but one of the things he kind of talks about with twin flames and stuff, like I'll just explain it real quick, because for me, I'm like, oh, that made sense. Up until then, I was still like, I don't really fully understand. I hadn't landed on a definition of twin flames, but for me, the simple definition that he gave was the idea that a twin flame is essentially a person that shows up within your life that helps ignite your light, that helps ignite your flame. And this doesn't have to be a romantic partnership, and it's not something that may be an ongoing thing. It may be there for a period, and then the idea being is that there can be multiple twin flames throughout your life. And again, I know some people would be like, oh, that's not my definition. My definition is there's only one twin flame. But then the idea of the soulmate, rather than just kind of getting fixed on the soulmate word itself, but rather the idea of like a soulmate relationship. And the soulmate relationship is basically, very simply put, a relationship that is harmonious, a relationship that is conscious, a relationship that is very self-aware, that has the intention to be present and to heal and to uplift and to inspire and to be able to hold space. So that's where, again, you can get into a twin flame romantic relationship, and oftentimes those relationships, they may have like a spark to them, and there may be this magnetism because our hearts are kind of gravitated towards it, but they might not necessarily sustain the healthy balance, but they still create a catalyst for growth. And so can a twin flame be a soulmate relationship? Absolutely. And again, I think the other idea, and this is getting a little bit more into the macro of the metaphysics, is this idea that and this is something where I'm just like, I'm still feeling it out, but through my relationship with Lacey, I definitely feel something to it, where it's this idea of the idea that, and again, I'm not saying this is a truth. It's more so just an idea to think about. The idea that, some people, and I don't know if this is just a twin flame definition. I feel like there should be another word for this. Otherwise, it starts muddling things and things kind of get convoluted. But it's this basic idea that a soul, almost in a concept of like reverse time theory, imagine a soul as like whole. And now imagine that soul kind of goes backwards in time, and it splits itself into two parts. And then it experiences itself as two different people, but then it has the intention and like the destiny to unite in one partnership. And so this is where you kind of get into this idea of, again, this is where sacred union really comes into the discussion. And this is something that's very, very powerful within, again, like the ancient Gnostic teachings, where they basically say, like, within your spiritual journey, there's things that you can do individually, but there are certain things, and again, this isn't me saying this is like more Gnostic teachings, but they definitely know their stuff, where basically you literally need another person in order to be able to reach higher levels of consciousness. Like there's actually, like, it's like a chemical equation. Like you, if you're just by yourself, that's not the full equation. So when you have the second person, male or female, male, female, whatever it may be, that's where, again, it allows like this alchemy, this chemistry. And this is where you literally get into the concept of sacred marriage. Sacred marriage is a term based on Gnostic teachings, which again is kind of like the coming together of the Shiva and the Shakti. And then out of this, it creates this powerful dynamic that lifts the consciousness of both into a higher plateau. So that is something that I feel is worth working towards, and it's something that I like to hope that everybody can experience that within this lifetime in some form or another. And then this is where you get into this idea that oftentimes this kind of like soul mate dynamic, some people will talk about the idea that it's something that expands beyond lifetimes. And I think, honestly, a lot of our relationships probably in some way probably expand beyond this lifetime, if you're open to that concept. Like maybe literally, like my past girlfriends, maybe I was a girlfriend with them in my past life or something like that. But then like the depth that I've been able to experience through my relationship with Lacey, which again I'm very fortunate to be able to share and to speak about, because I speak about it from the purpose of being able to say, like, here's an example of what's possible, here's an example for us all to kind of like work towards. But again, it kind of like is this really, for us, and I'm only speaking from my own experience, really deep soul connection, like really, really, really deep, like something that is just like, whoa, like we've done this before, like we've been together in other lifetimes. And I didn't have that with my previous relationships. I definitely love them, but this was different. This is different. And again, and I'll just say this because I want to be able to pass it to Selomon and to Shannon, where the concept of a soulmate relationship isn't just something where it just kind of shows up and it's just like, yay, like there it is and everything's perfect. Like, not necessarily. The soulmate relationship is something that you build. It's something that you construct. It's like building a temple. And then within that relationship, it houses the divinity, so to speak. It houses the sacredness. So, any sort of relationship, romantic relationship in particular, I think it's important for us to be able to show up to it with the willingness to do the work. And when we start doing the work, this is where things really begin to kind of like move into a new plateau, which really lifts our consciousness, and it takes us to places we might never even thought were possible. So again, that relationship is both internal within our own journey, and then we share it with the partner, and then the partner helps us reflect it back into ourselves. It's a sacred mirror concept, and it's incredibly, incredibly beautiful, but it's not always easy. And I think, just to be able to demystify that, whereas like, the conscious relationship, like it's work. Like it literally, like work, relatively speaking, I'm putting air quotes on that and stuff like that. But it requires attention. It requires devotion. It requires consciousness. It requires awareness. So out of that, it's a very beautiful journey. And again, it's something that I hold space for everyone to be able to again, be able to experience in some form or another. And I think we do. I think we do experience this in many different ways as well. So yeah, again, me speaking on my relationship with Lacey, like, yeah, like it's not, I'm not going to lie to you. It's not something where I'm just like, oh, like, I'll just, be like, yeah, this is awesome. It's just like, yeah, it's awesome, but it took work. Like I'm 33. Like this didn't come into my life until way later, sort of thing. So again, like I think it's okay that we honor the earlier relationships, but then to really be able to like feel when that relationship does arrive, and to really just, again, but even still, like even in that relationships, like you honor it each moment at a time. And you hold this devotion, and you hold this promise, and you make this choice each day to be able to choose that person, and to really be able to reflect on what does that mean to you, to choose that person, to hold them up, to hold space for them, to lift each other up, and to grow together, and to be able to share this journey. And it's incredibly, incredibly powerful. And again, when we do that, it expands beyond just us, and I know this. I see this, and I see this with Selomon and Shannon, and I feel it with me and Lacey, where it's like I feel that through me and Lacey being together, it affects more than just us. And I hope that through me and Lacey's relationship, as you guys get to know us a bit more, I hope it gives you hope. I hope it serves as a mirror for you to be able to like see what's possible, to see what's inside each of us already, to be able to work towards something. And again, just to be able to bring in more consciousness into any relationship we're in, whether the relationship we're in right now is the one that will be, the one, whatever that means, or it's just one of a few more along the path, so to speak. But if we can bring as much conscious awareness into every single relationship, then they'll continue to just open us up in incredibly magical ways that prior to it, we can't even really fathom. So the mystery and the magic of the sacred union is, something that must be lived rather than something that I can just tell you about here in a podcast. So Selomon and Shannon, thank you guys for joining in. I'll just set it up for them. If you guys haven't yet, be sure to check out, they have a podcast, and they actually did a podcast earlier this week. They've done a few in the past couple weeks related to relationships and sacred relationships. And you can find that at the Bring Me to Life podcast. It's bringmetolife.com/podcast with the number 2. And we'll put the show notes, we'll put that into the show notes as well. And I'd love to just be able to kind of like give the talking stick to you guys, and please just go ahead and speak on this from your heart and tell us a little bit about love and relationships. And please, by all means, I know you guys, this almost feel like you guys have already talked about this before on your podcast, but go ahead and even just tell us a little bit about your journey and what works for you guys, and any wisdom that you feel people can learn from that you can share with us tonight. So let's give a nice warm welcome to Selomon and Selomon and Shannon. Thank you guys so much for being here. We love you guys.
Thank you so much. This has been such a beautiful discussion, and I'm so honored to be here with so many awesome light beings because y'all are great. I'm Shannon. I go by Shantastic Shine on most social media, and yeah, we've been really reflecting on the divine love concept recently. Of course, it's like the month of love, so it's like a collective vibe. We're all kind of like feeling like, what does love mean to us? And I love that you brought up the twin flame thing in a different light, because I've seen it become so toxic in some ways. It can be like this beautiful thing, like a fire, until it's not, and somebody gets burned. And that's like how the twin flame phenomenon kind of comes at me. And as somebody who does a lot of soul readings and stuff for people, I see a lot of energy gets stuck on this finding of the twin flame or finding of the soulmate, rather than finding like what they really want love to feel like. It's like they're stuck on this longing for that other half rather than finding another whole. And I think it's really powerful to go at it looking for like whole beings to have an experience with. Because to me, like, love's kind of like a garden. You got to nourish it, and it's important to like give each little partner and plant space, or it's going to get too crowded and shriveled up and not want to be near any of the other things. And you just got to let things grow. And love is something that definitely grows. Sila and I have experienced all kind of growing pains and growing experiences and adventures together. And we've really kind of adapted to the term like soul buddies or soul partners, because it's more of like a partnership than like a mating process. Like sometimes you think of mate and you're like, okay, I'm going to get married, I'm going to have a house, I'm going to get my kids, I'm going to have this like American dream. And it's not that. And it's about finding a partnership that you can evolve with and mold with, and seeing that person grow into what they want to be, which is probably not what they were when they first met you, because you're a catalyst for them. Any partnership, like you said, is like a catalyst for the next one and a lesson for the next one. And there's so much to learn. And when Sila and I found each other like 7 years ago, it was a really powerful experience because I'm sure I'll talk on it too. We both had just kind of like given up on love. We were like, we're done. I'm not looking for like a love partnership. I'm not looking for like romance. I don't even need like sex right now. Like, it's just, I'm on my journey. I want to experience it. I was like deep in my awakening process. And I saw someone in the chat earlier mention the law of attraction, and I had just like read The Secret and got into like this journey of like, how can I attract what I want? And it was like, well, first I want to attract happiness, and this everything just keeps telling me I have to find happiness within myself, so I'm going to stop trying to look elsewhere. And it was like, as soon as I had that thought, I was like, well, what else do I really want? I really want some friends that like get it, that don't think I'm weird, that don't think I'm crazy, that, can love each other as friends before it has to be like deeper than that, like deeper than a relationship. So I just like set out on this mission to like call in friends. And I did this like little law of attraction ceremony and was like, I just want friends that are going to stick with me because I'm sick of this like nonsense. Like a lot of my friends thought I was like crazy because I was, on this journey to awakening and I was talking about all the things that they weren't quite into yet. So I wanted a circle. And it was like as soon as I started calling in that circle, I had a mentor show up that was in a group, the Starseeds group that a lot of us know of, and CeeLo happened to be in that group, and so did our friend Ashton, like from Spaceship Earth and stuff like that. And I started seeing these people appear, and I just like again set my mind on just wanting friendship. And most of the relationships that I've gotten the most out of have started out as a friendship. I was always kind of the tomboy growing up where I was friends with the guys before like they would ever see me as like somebody they could date. And then it just kind of happened that we were in a relationship because we were talking all the time and they were able to give their emotions freely to me and I was like able to hold them in that space. So that's what a lot of people really long for, is to find somebody that can hold them in their emotion. And I was really grateful when CeeLo appeared because I was in a really emotional state and I wasn't looking for someone to heal me, but to see me. And I think that's what a lot of partnership really is to see and witness the other person, what they're going through. And I've been really grateful, especially through this like chaos that has been like the COVID in 2020. And I just like think about what it would be like to be on that journey again. And I'm just so grateful that I do have CeeLo because he's seen me go stir crazy. He's seen me like wanting to get out and go out, but I'm also just really grateful that I have him to like grow and witness with here too. And like if you have been in a relationship and you're listening and you made it through like the lockdowns and the distance or the non-distance and the like being stuck in space with each other, then you're doing a lot of growth together. And if you're looking for like a relationship, kind of think about that rather than thinking about like this game that romance has become. Think about like what kind of energy do you want to grow with and that you want to hold space for to nourish, because there's going to be a lot of growing that happens in a divine relationship.
Mhm.
So
Definitely a lot of growing. It doesn't start off easy, to be honest. Like Shannon said, we weren't looking for anything romantic. We were just looking for friends and people to teach us about life. Um, but like something happened, like the universe, it just felt like it was pulling us together, and we ended up making out at one point in a tent
we were like,
in a
what?
festival,
Why?
and then like I ran away because I wasn't ready for intimacy like that. I was very, scared of it. So I ran away, and somehow I decided to live with her after that. And it took a month at least for us to be able to decide we wanted to be romantic. And I thought that is one of the reasons that we've been able to, keep growing together, is because it started off as something just so innocent. And like Kristen mentioned about having expectations. And sometimes if you have expectations and they don't get fulfilled, then you start to feel a little resentment. So just the fact that we didn't have like an expectation on what kind of relationship it was going to be, where we were going to go, we just allowed it to kind of grow organically. And then when we were like, okay, we're going to be together, then we started to have like conversations. And because communication is very, very huge in relationships, and one of the key reasons why the long-term ones stay long-term. And if you're happy, it's probably because you're able to communicate your boundaries, you're able to communicate all that kind of stuff. There was one point Shannon and I did a little ceremony because we get down, we're human. Yeah, it's not always happy-go-lucky. Oftentimes it's very hard to have conversations, and to be vulnerable, and to show your sad side and your angry and depressed side. But we had this conversation one night where we kind of just brought each other up with some compliments, and then we offered each other here's some improvements that I would love to see you make. And
And you took turns with it too, so it wasn't like either one of us was overpowering the other.
yeah, yeah. And that was great. So it, you know, it takes work, but it's definitely worth it. And now we're still growing. Like we still have our bad days, but we just got to breathe through them and find little things to make you happy. I was kind of sad today. Like Shannon and I were having rough conversations. I was feeling a little sad, so I put on the Greatest Showman soundtrack, and that instantly just like brought me up, like raised my vibration, just because it's, you know, like, I don't know. So you gotta, like, it's important to find little things that little rituals that can, you know, bring your vibe up, because, you know, relationship is, it's a lot, especially when you live with somebody during the pandemic.
And we've lived together since day one. So we're a really rare case. Like, I want to touch on that again, the law of attraction thing. Like, I had set out for friends, and, you know, like, love was a thing. Like, if it came, whatever, but I wanted friends. And when you are ready for a divine love to happen, like, when there's a catalyst that's meant to happen in your life, it will find you. Like, Sila was 600 plus miles away. We had no need to ever meet each other. But when we had both kind of like given it up to the universe, something brought us together like magnets. And like, once we were there, even though we weren't like, oh yeah, we're in a romantic relationship, like we made out once, we're together forever, it was like, I don't know about this, but we'll kind of like hang out and just see, because you can feel that magnetism with somebody that you're meant to experience something with, whether it's meant to be romantic, meant to like start a family and like go your separate ways. Because some people, they do that, they like they make a partnership for a certain reason and then they split their ways. And for CeeLo and I, we both had a passion with like Bring Me to Life. So that was kind of something that brought us together, and we wanted to see how we could wake up each other and also help others shine on. So it gave us like a mutual thing to look forward to. And I think that's something really important in a lot of dynamics and partnerships that I've seen be really successful, is they have something or some sort of like-minded goal that really lights them up and gets them excited to want to keep growing and evolving together.
Yeah, like Allison
Yep,
and Alex
that's what I
Gray,
was
they have
thinking.
the, you know, cosm, the sacred mirrors, and they're constantly like getting better and evolving with each other.
Yeah, like finding something to get excited about and build together. So it's not just about like the intimacy and romance in like a physical way, but like the other sort of like playful side of it.
You guys can just keep talking. I'll just keep listening for a few more hours. That's okay. Or I'll just check out the podcast. No, straight up, for anybody who's just like, oh, I love just listening to them talk, then definitely go check out the podcast. Bring Me to Life. You can find it. Bring Me to Life podcast. BringMeLife.com and /podcast. So we'll put that into the show notes again. I love being able to listen to you guys talk, and again, you know, just thank you for sharing your wisdom, and I really like that. I really like that idea that you were saying, that, you know, having those little rituals, that's always so important, you know, especially in those moments where things may get a little bit challenging. You know, it's just kind of like, okay, like things are feeling a little bit heated, like let's just kind of, you know, take a moment to maybe just like sit on the bed and just kind of like breathe together, or let's like go for a walk, or, you know, like that's, for me, I love being able to give massage. I love being able to just kind of like sit with my partner and just sit behind them and just kind of like have my hands on them. And again, you know, you just kind of like emphasizing this idea of being able to not try to heal people, but rather to just be able to see them and to hold space. That's so powerful, because again, I think a lot of people, when they get into relationships, they have this something encoded into them where they're just like, oh, I have to, you know, it's like, oh, that person's a fixer upper, like they have to fix them, sort of thing. It's like if you do that, like that intention that you bring into that relationship, you know, I feel like that will create its own conflict down the road. But if you can just really honor someone for who they are, and to really honor the magnetism that you feel in connection to them, and just being very gentle and very patient, I think for you guys, what you guys said is so important. And I can say that from, you know, speaking on relationship with Lacey is the fact that, you know, what's made it so powerful is the fact that our roots are so deep. And it's the fact that we didn't get into like a romantic relationship, you know, until way later. But we developed a friendship over years and years and years. And even within that, you know, I think it's powerful when you do feel this magnetism, how people are brought together. And I think it's one of those things where I've talked about this before, but it's like the heart. This is a very powerful lesson, and it's basically this idea that, you know, your heart will lead you not necessarily to happiness in one specific moment, but it will lead you to where you need to go in order to be able to learn the lessons, in order for you to be able to grow, which will in turn eventually lead you to a more consistent, sustained state of happiness and presence and everything like that. But it's okay to really just kind of like honor the fact that earlier on, before you kind of find that one of those relationships that are just like, oh, this one's more of a soulmate relationship, or whatever it is. For myself, again, just speaking back on past relationships and everything like that, it was, in retrospect, it was important for me to be able to honor the idea that my heart was led towards these relationships. I was following my heart, I was following the magnetism, and then it broke me. But in breaking me, it was actually what I needed. In breaking me, it broke the illusions, it broke like the misconceptions that I had of love. And it helped me learn, and it helped me heal, and it helped me grow as well. So I think for those of you who are still navigating this field of love, when you move into it with this perspective of just kind of like, yes, follow your heart, but also be aware that it is leading you not necessarily to something that may be like the be all end all relationship, but it's definitely leading you to somewhere because there is a lesson there. And that lesson will feel great at some times, and then there will be other times where it may be, again, kind of like the heartbreak. But as I've said before, the heart doesn't just break, it breaks open, and that's, again, allowing more of kind of like the light to shine in, and all of those phases that we go through in the period of a post breakup. Those are powerful because it gives us the opportunity to be able to see the parts in ourselves where we can send more love. That's what I think is very, very important, to be able to carry that self-awareness, where after that relationship, we're just like, oh, you feel it, you feel the depths of it, but then you also learn how to be able to turn that love that you were previously projecting out onto a partner, to turn it inwards, and to turn it into self-care, and to create a routine, and to be able to build this new version of yourself as well. So if you feel your heart being magnetically pulled towards someone, honor it, follow that journey, but be brave in doing so. And know that you are moving into the unknown, and move into it with optimism, absolutely. But at the same time, know that just based on the patterns of the universe, that whatever happens will be, again, still for your highest growth. Even if it's not like, this is basically, just to summarize, the universe will give you what you need, not necessarily what you want. And the gravity of the heart will lead you towards that. In some way or another, and again, ultimately leading you back to the relationship yourself. And as Shannon was saying, this idea of a lot of people, again, you see it on TikTok, and they're like how to manifest a relationship and stuff like that. But I think, again, the key to manifesting that next relationship is really just be able to focus on yourself, cultivate that love within yourself, and then as you do that, you kind of like raise your vibration, so to speak. You shift your octave, and then you naturally become a match for that next person that will match that as well. So the less you seek, the more you will find, by turning the attention inwards. And then when you're not looking for it, it will show up. And it will show up. Like, it will show up. It will. It's kind of like this like law of the universe, so to speak. But anyways, I want to just keep the talking stick going around. I've talked too much tonight, and I just want to be able to let everybody else just kind of, again, speak on this. And we'll go for probably about another half hour, and then we'll get close to wrapping it up. And I'd love to just kind of, again, let people share on just their own wisdom through relationships. What have you guys learned? What have you guys learned through heartbreak? What have you learned through the good times? And one thing I did want to get into, I'll pass it to Ren. What do you love most about relationships? Like, please tell us a cute story if you got one. What do you like to do with your partner? And the one thing I'll just say real quick, and then we'll pass over to Ren. I love dancing. I love dancing with my partner. I love dancing with Lacey, and it's something that I intend to continue to cultivate more. And as Selomon and Shannon were saying, having those rituals, I think being able to kind of just like, regardless of what's happening, if you can kind of like show up with your partner and just do something, for speaking from my own experience, such as dancing, it just brings you into this like very magical healing place where it just kind of like dissolves things, and it just allows you to really be present with each other. So yeah, and working on art together, and working towards common goals and common visions, and again, being able to do something that is in service for others as well. Like that's powerful. And I think that definitely speaks to a lot of people here in the community, because a lot of people, you know, are artists, are leaders in their own right, and when two leaders come together, you know, that's a powerful way for us to be able to bring that love out into the world, so we can cultivate it within our relationship, and then we bring it out into our art and into our service as well. And again, as Selomon and Shannon said, you know, instead of like don't look for someone to try and make you whole, cultivate that wholeness within yourself, and then you have two whole people coming together. And oh, and the last thing I'll say here, because this is a big misconception, a lot of people create this mythos that it's like, oh, you can't love someone else until you learn to love yourself. I don't know if that's entirely fair to say that, because I think sometimes we learn to love ourselves through being loved by someone else, you know. And so I think to kind of say, like, it's like, oh, I can't love someone else until I love me first. It's like it almost creates a sense of like you are unworthy of receiving that until you've meet X, Y, and Z expectation. But I think at certain points within our life, you know, there will be a time where we may be in a place where we're not fully loving of ourselves, but somebody else may show up and they may help us learn how to love ourselves, so that thus we can turn that love and bring that love back into the relationship as well. So yeah, I just want to be able to like honor the fact that, you know, even in your woundedness, you are still worthy of love. Like 100%. And whether it be romantic or otherwise, we're here to, you know, that's a power of community as well, to be able to like hold space for each other between those stages. Okay, we'll pass over to Ren, and then who wants to jump in after that? Amanda will jump in after Ren as well. So go ahead, Ren, passing it over to you, and we'll just keep the talking stick moving from here, and I'm going to ease off and let you guys jump more into it. Go ahead, Ren.
Okay, thanks, Brendon. So you kind of said something a little similar, but I posted this in my post today, and it's just this quote by Marianne Williamson, and she said, "Love is everywhere, but if our eyes aren't open to see it, we miss out. Who among us haven't missed out on love because we were looking for it in one package and it came in another? Our problem is rarely a lack of love so much as a mental block to our awareness of its presence." And I absolutely like love that quote, because how many times have we like all of us like been looking specifically like, I need the perfect man or woman, they have to look this way, they need to be that way, and that's not, the universe won't give you that, because it knows best. Like your higher self knows for you is going to lead you to finding your true self with that person. But what I love about relationships, specifically the one I'm in right now, is being able to fully be myself authentically without having to feel ashamed whatsoever. And I think that's what like love is not feeling you have to walk on eggshells, or feeling like you have to hide parts of yourself, whether that be good nor bad. Knowing that you will always have that loving space, even if you're angry, you know you can feel that anger, and I think that's amazing. A few things I love doing with my significant other is I love cooking with him. Like that's something that I really recommend to anyone, is like, especially if you live together or when you get together, like it really, you wouldn't think so, but it really brings this like getting to know each other and like sense of play and love in the kitchen. And again, you're ingesting that food, so what you're doing in that space is love, and then you're taking in that love as well. So that's something I really love to do with my boyfriend. And visiting animal refugees, like that was the thing we really loved to do, was like seeing the animals and just going out and spending time with them, playing video games together and being adults, like even cleaning. I'm like, I'm having fun with you. Like even as we're mopping the goddamn floor, like we just blast music. Like it's great. But yeah, that's what I love doing. And I think, yeah, I don't know, love is everywhere. And I just love.
Love is love, and love is all there is. So beautiful. Awesome. Thank you, Ren. And yeah, no, I'm Lacey, if you're listening to this, I'm excited to do some cooking with you as well. So, anyways, okay, all right. Anybody else who wants to jump in on just kind of sorry, Amanda will pass over to Amanda, and then who wants to go after Amanda? Kristen? Okay, all right, go right ahead, Amanda, when you're ready.
I just wanted to touch on a couple of things that you guys have mentioned. I've mentioned this probably 100 times at this point. I was in a 10-year toxic marriage where I was not appreciated in any way, and I wasn't able to trust my judgment leaving that marriage. So coming into this community really helped with me being able to start trusting other people, but I still didn't trust myself and I still didn't trust my judgment, and that I was safe to be around people. It was actually Rob coming into my life that helped with that. He's shown me so much love and support that he's given me this safe space to be able to trust myself with people again. Um, Basically, just he just made it so that I can actually tell all of you how I feel, which I do on a regular basis, and I make it weird. I love that. But yeah, his friendship has made like a huge difference in my life, and he's made everything a lot easier. And yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say.
Oh, shout out to Rob. He's in the YouTube chat right now. Rob, I know you're tuned in, and yes, thank you for sharing your love with not only Amanda but with the community as well. And then that's again, you know, like isn't that amazing when again just kind of like hearing Amanda talk, but we just think about it on our own experiences. You guys know that feeling. It's just like there's a difference between waking up in the morning and being like, you know, like feeling like alone and stuff like that. Not to say there's anything wrong with that, but when you wake up in the morning and you know that there's like that person that you're like excited to talk to and just excited to like share things with, like that's the part for me that has always been so magical about a relationship, is that I've had periods in my life where I've definitely lone wolfed it, and I can do that, but I'm just like, I'd love to share this with someone else. Like that for me was always just that just like, yeah, like I'm on a big mission, I'm doing things, I'm succeeding, I'm growing, I'm learning, but it's just like, oh, I'd love to share this with someone else, you know. And so I think that's within our nature, you know. We're drawn to each other, we're very social beings, so it's amazing to be able to share that, to have that experience, and again to know that experience is something that's not always romantic, but again, you know, this what it means to be a friend, what it means to be present, because I think everything that is in a romantic relationship is just like an extension of what comes from the friendship. So if we can focus on being friends with each other, you know, then that's a great way to be able to cultivate that base and that foundation that eventually becomes the soil from which, you know, romance can evolve into. If we jump into the romance without doing the friendship, you know, that's where things might kind of not have the same structure. But let's all focus on really like being better friends for the people in our life who we genuinely love, and not shying away from that. You know, like quick exercise for everybody here. I want you guys to just kind of like gently unmute your microphones and just tell everybody here that you love them. Like I love you guys. Like I love you guys. I love you. I love everybody.
I love you guys.
I love all
I love all of you guys.
Much.
I love you guys so
All
much.
of you guys.
So much love.
Thank you so much.
It's so beautiful, and it's interesting because it's like what do we mean when we say that? You know, like why? Like what does that mean to us? When we say we love you, you know, like that in itself, it's like that word is almost like holding with it an entire story. It's like, I love you because ... because you've been there for me, you've inspired me, you've created with me, you've shared with me, I've seen your vulnerability, you've seen my vulnerability, you see me, within me I see you. You know, it's this phrase of intimacy. And I know there's a lot of people talking about this, and I'll just say this real quick and we'll pass it around. Intimacy, the word intimacy is literally like, into me you see. So we can cultivate intimacy outside of it being, you know, like romantic, and that's a powerful thing to do within a community. So if we can really celebrate the idea of like, how do we develop more intimacy as friends, as community, you know, and then through that create an example of what can eventually become kind of normal. This should be normal. This type of love should be normal. But here we are, helping lead by example and being a beacon and showing what's possible. And it's crazy because I know there are some people out there, and I think of things like transformational festivals where this love just kind of flows throughout the festival, where it's just like a radical acceptance and celebration of each other as individuals and a soul, a spirit, to really see each other not just as a person, but to see them as the soul, to really see them. Into me you see. there are some people, they show up at these festivals and they have literally never experienced love like that. And when they experience it for the first time, they're like, I didn't even know this was a thing. Like, I've never tasted this before. And it's just like, and it feels like home, you know. And I think that's when we know, like, that's when we're like really in like when we're in love again, you know. We think of love as, I think of love as being like water. It's like being like a pool that you can step into. So we as a community, we can create this space, this like sacred water, and then we invite people to be like, come into the water, like come into the vibration, come into the love. So that's this idea, you know, when if we were in a room together and, you know, people were just walking along, if we were like on the street with the door open and they'd like hear us like chatting and jamming and laughing, they'd like be drawn into it, be like, what are they doing in there? Like, I want to go in there. And then they kind of, you know, it's like our morning meditations. If someone's flipping through the channels and they see us doing our laughter meditation, they're like, what is this? Like, this is so cool. And they're just like drawn into it, right? So like this love is like this gravity to it. It's that naturally brings people together. And again, it's because it's home. Love is home. Love is in the heart. Love is the home within the heart. And so that is the journey that we are on. Like we've said this before, we are literally like walking each other home. And that home is back to the heart. That home is love. Anyways, I'm gonna get all teary-eyed here. Jeez. All right. Okay. Who wants to be able to jump in next, guys? We'll get things wrapped up in the next little bit. I'm not going to rush it though, because I know there's more to talk on here. Maureen, we'll pass it over to you. When you're ready, go right ahead.
Hi, yeah, thank you. And again, the into me you see thing was pretty amazing. That was pretty awesome. Um, I keep getting this thought that's like far beyond like labeling our relationships. The most important part of them is to observe them and to pull from them. I feel like a lot of us right now are transitioning and a lot of us are searching. There's a lot of flame questions going around. I think we're all searching for some kind of connection. As you awaken, I think it makes sense that your soul is searching for the other half. But I think these are all just catalysts. And if we just take a deep breath and slow down, I think it'll all come together for us. That's pretty much all I have on that one.
Thank you, Maureen. Beautiful. Yeah, no, just being very gentle with ourselves on this path. So yeah. And who wants to be able to jump in next? Lori, we'll pass it over to you. Go right ahead.
Hey guys, I just wanted to kind of piggyback off of what you just said, Brendon, because that was really beautiful about where, like, bringing it back to the heart and to where love is in your heart, because I really feel that. And when we say in this community that I love you, I genuinely feel that in my heart. And so when I want to return to feel the love from you guys, all I have to do is put my hand on my heart and feel and go in my mind to our tree and give you guys a big hug. And that to me is love. That this community is love. That's one form of love, and it's the most beautiful form of love that I've experienced in this lifetime. So I just wanted to share how beautiful you guys are to me. Love you, Larry.
Oh, that's beautiful. Kristen, do you want to share anything while the mic's still open? On just like what love feels like in the community or otherwise, or
Oh my goodness, I could talk about the love in this community for probably hours. So, yeah, no, the love that we share, it's truly so special because you guys really are living, breathing examples of unconditional love and support. And it's so beautiful to be able to see us grow and learning to support each other and learning each other's love languages and you know helping each other through the times that are maybe not so great, or being able to connect with one another whenever we're going through something that we can relate with each other about. And just being able to be there for each other in our authentic selves and our true forms, and know that we're not going to be judged or expected to be anything other than we are, and we're going to be able to be loved no matter what. And that's really, it's magical. There's no other word to describe it besides just pure magic in true form. So yeah, absolutely. Love to me is, yeah, just feeling that heart space and sharing it as often as we can, wherever we can. So I'm just so grateful for all the amazing opportunities I get to share my big old heart with all of you guys.
And taco to the face.
Happy taco. Got that satisfying crunch. So. Awesome. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Lori. And absolutely, yeah. It means so much for to hear that feedback, because again, this, I've created a container, but we've filled it together. Like it's the invitation where I'm just like, hey guys, I'm gonna create this awesome project. I'm gonna create this awesome party. Let's all come together and really just practice cultivating love and being love. And this is the thing, like I'll just say this and I want to pass it around to whoever wants to jump in. Kai, do you want to jump in at anything? It's been a while since we've heard from you in a moment. Yeah, so one thing I was going to say, it's funny where we say like, I love you. And I think that phrase is very powerful. But I think one phrase that I remember, even this is like a few years ago when I was in a previous relationship, and I remember kind of like having this epiphany where it's like, instead of saying like, I love you, instead, that slight shift where it's like, I am love with you. Say that again. I am love with you. Like I think again, when we kind of change that little phrase, instead of saying like, I love you, I love you, I love you, as if love is kind of like this thing that kind of comes and goes. But instead to say, I am love with you, it's more about the self-identification of realizing that the love is always there. And it's just the, acknowledging it. So if everybody here, if you guys just want to, for those of you in the YouTube chat, try saying that, like, I am love with you. And you can say that, you like, try saying that to a partner, and this is where, and I'll just say here for, in terms of things that partners can do together. And again, and I say this both as relationship or just with a friend, in the context of practicing intimacy into me, you see, things like eye gazing, very, very, very powerful. Sit across from each other, synchronize your breathing, inhales, soft exhales, and just really finding a flow. And then you just kind of like look into someone and you're just like softly gazing and things like that, and really just like seeing them and just feeling this wave of energy moving from your heart. And again, like that's I know Lacey's not joining in for this one, but me and her are probably going to do a whole nother podcast on this for Magic of the Heart Cave. But it's interesting because I know she says it more than me, but it's like this idea where she's like, we both agree on this, but it's like our love, as a result of just like the magic that we've cultivated, it feels very psychedelic. Like the experience of being with this other person is almost like it almost feels like it's like almost like an out of body experience sometimes, where it can become like very just like very profound, very powerful, and things like that. Yeah, but again, that's just coming from personal experience. But again, that doesn't have to be, that can literally happen within a relationship like this, within a community. When we look at each other and we're just like, whoa, like we actually look at each other and we're like I remember you. Like, I remember you on a soul level. And I didn't even know that I forgot about you. But now that you're here in front of me, I remember you. Remember, member-ing, coming together. Remember, re-hearting, So pass it over to Kai, and then we'll again, I'd love to just be able to invite everybody to just share even at least just one more time. Then we'll get close to wrapping this up, and we'll keep this. I think it's going to be probably just like close to 3 hours, but that's totally fine. Or if not, a little bit early. Kai, would you like to go next?
Yeah.
Go right ahead, Kai.
I resonate so deeply with it, what everyone's been sharing, and thank you for being vulnerable and sharing like your past relationships and the breakthroughs and the breakdowns and the breakups. Yeah, like this community has been like such a wholesome, loving space. I think I made it to all the team podcasts for the last maybe 2 months. And it's because it's like one of the first times in my life where like I found my community. I could be myself. And it's like every podcast, we like help each other. We all become a bit more vulnerable. Like we do like things that are way outside our comfort zone. And we're there to like just be there to like love on each other, to support each other, and for us to kind of remember and to like own different parts of ourselves that we kind of have learned wasn't valid, or wasn't what our parents wanted, and it was too much. And it's really for us to own our light again, and to move through the fear of us being too bright and too loving, and we have each other to guide us. Because at the end of the day, yeah, it's great if I could just master self-love, and then maybe I could, like, be fluid and easily connect with you all. But it's almost like it's like a coinciding journey with us, me practicing self-love, having this community to, like, practice loving. And for me, and Dr. Z can relate too, it's really hard for me to receive love, to the point where I think for me it was the lack of, self-acceptance, and I just never grew up with healthy models of love. And for me to, like, have experienced that unconditional love myself when I was younger. So I never really had that, like, I think a lot of people don't have that inner knowing that, like, like, heart, home, this is love. Like, I am perfect as I am. So for me, it's really been like learning from these communities and my old relationships, um, to shift. Like, for me, my biggest blockages in my romantic love, is one of, like, kind of bit of judging. And also, I think it's a mixture of me seeing the potential in them, but at the same time, like, I don't fully accept where they are now. And my ex specifically called me out one time, was like, it just seems like I'm never good enough. Like, you always want me to do more. Or even the fact that she pointed out, and this is a big wake up call for me. She was like, "You kind of, like, seem like you just want me to, like what you like, or be like kind of you." And I realized that, like, my projections in these romantic relationships is, like, I'm kind of, like, trying to find myself, and I unknowingly and unwisely, like, try to project it onto my lover and make her, like, sometimes, like, who I want to be. So for me, as much as, like, the breakup sucked and moving through that kind of sucked, but every time I would take a break, go do on this self-love journey, and realize, a lot of the projections and who I've been seeking in my old romances was, like, kind of myself. So now if I'm in a place where I love myself, I appreciate myself, it's like, yeah, maybe I feel like now I am in more alignment, where I've cleared out some of my stuff, so I can welcome in, whether if it's like a soulmate, a twin flame, and it could be like, I don't even know, it could be like anyone. It's not just my own image, my own little, my own little grasping of, like, I want to find my partner who likes everything that I do and just gets along with me perfectly, no disagreements. And yeah, so it's very humbling. And, like, my partners, and finding communities like this, like all you being here, thank you for your love, and thank you for receiving love, and thank you for holding such loving space, so we can all really just, like, feel this, like, warm, bubbly, but at the same time, like, literally it hurts. Like, the past 2 weeks, like, so much love that, like, it literally feels like I'm having a heart attack. But I know this is a cracking open. So thank you everyone for love.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Kai, and again, thank you everybody here for, like, that's exactly why a lot of the things that we do here in the podcast, it's kind of like, it's like soft, like I'm softly guiding us places, but again, what we're guiding, not just people here within the panel, but people watching, is, again, we're softly, like, teaching each other how to be love, and then also how to be an example of love. This is a very, very powerful thing. And as Kai was saying, I think a lot of us, growing up, this is kind of an obvious observation, I'll just pass around here, I don't want to talk too long on this. We didn't have too many examples of what healthy love looked like, especially if you were just looking to the media and things like that. It was always just a discombobulated version, or it was something that was just kind of, like, very toxic, but it was presented as if it was cool, sort of thing. So there's a lot of people who are kind of navigating this world of love, where they're only doing it based on what they thought it was supposed to look like, and then it's not until they kind of go through that and be like, oh, like, that doesn't really work. But again, like, this past while with COVID, I hope in some ways it's really given people the opportunity to perhaps slow some of their habits down and really force them to go inwards. And out of this, I hope it brings us more into a place of really being able to reflect on, like, what love really means to us. And so, this is what we're doing here as a community. We're practicing embodying love. cultivating love, practicing love, experiencing love. It's a cathartic process of love. And then practicing being an example so that other people can look at it and be like, oh, like that's what healthy love can look like. You know, that's what holding space can look like. So let's keep things going along here. Who wants to be able to jump in? Abbey, yes. And let me just make sure. Anybody after Mason after that, and then CeeLo and Shannon, if you guys want to jump back in at some point after. Abbey, we'll go ahead and pass it over to you. Anything that you feel called to share, go right ahead.
I am so grateful for all of you guys because I've wanted to be a part of a community like this for so long, and I have had opportunities where I have, but I was not in a place where it was healthy for me. And I am just now getting into a place where even these kind of friendships are healthy for me. And it's been overwhelming. But it's, yeah, I don't know what you guys want me to say. Like, I love you guys, but this is a lot, like a lot right now. And for it to be on YouTube, it's a fucking lot. I love you guys so very, very, very much. But I feel very panicky right now, and this is me opening up the feeling vulnerable and knowing that this is you guys I can say that to, and working through a fear where I just feel like I've known something like this was coming, but I still can't even. I feel like I'm going through a lot right now, and I love you guys for being here and holding space always for me, because I don't even know what's going on half the time. And to be a part of all of the worlds going on right now, coming from not being a part of any world at all and not having any connection at all, that's a problem in the world, and I can't be the only one either. I have felt so disconnected to my heart that I can't even acknowledge beautiful people in front of me that have been here for me for the last 6 months and say I love you all. Just because also I haven't even been doing the work fully because I've been living in fear, and there's a lot going on in the world, and I don't want to be the bad vibes, but I need to get off of this podcast right now and just close it off. I love you guys, but I just need to go and meditate about it. And
we love you. We love you. We love you. We love you.
Thank you for sharing, Abbey. And again, you know, we hold space. Abbey, do what you feel you need to do, and you're welcome to tune in whatever way you feel called if you choose to. And we just honor you where you are, Abbey. So we're proud of you.
Thank you.
Love you, Abbey.
Thank you, Abbey. Awesome. Yeah. And again, just honoring, that's what love is. You know, love is really just kind of like honoring where we may be at any time. And like we said, like that literally will be the times where it's like it will be confusing, and it will be messy, and it will be tears, and it will be a puddle on the floor and things like that. And again, you know, I think seeing Abbey speak on that, I think is a very powerful reflection of the fact that there are so many of us right now who are suffering, who are hurt, who are sick in many, many different ways, in many, many different spectrums. And again, you know, I don't think we need to, as we said, you know, like I think love is being real. I don't think love is like pretending like we always need to like be like this super happy sort of thing. Like love is having hard conversations. Love is getting very serious when we need to. Love is listening. Love is, as we were saying, you know, it's seeing. And so with Abbey, did we need to say something in particular for her to simply make her feel a different way, as if we needed to fix her in that moment? No. But simply to see her is an example of what love can look like. And we don't need to, you know, Abbey has stepped out of the podcast for now, and we honor her choice in that. And we move on. And the conversation isn't about Abbey, and we respect her privacy, and we hold her in our heart. And I think, you know, honestly, like speaking, just using this as a catalyst, just to speak on a topic that I can speak from my own experience, love sometimes will look like caring. It will be like there will be a part of you that will want to do something for someone else. Like you'll see someone hurting and be like, oh, I want to do something, but like the thing that you need to do in that moment is to just give them space and to just back up and to let them know that you're there for them, and then they can come to you. You know, like love, don't, if someone's just like, I need space, and then you're just like, but we should talk more, like I can help you, like let me give you a hug. Like, no, don't do that. Like, listen to someone. If they're saying like, hey, I need to do this, honor that choice that they've made for themselves and respect their space. Like, love needs to be something that is respectful, opposed to imposing in that sense. So again, you know, it's something that we are constantly learning, and I feel it. I think, again, you know, like this topic, I think it's hard as much as it is inspiring for some of us. I think it's hard for us because we're at a point in the world right now where so many of us are so empathetically connected to what is happening that it's hard not to wake up every day and to feel what the entire world is feeling right now. And that's heavy. And I feel it too. I feel it too. And it's how we take that feeling and we learn how to kind of like put it through a process where we can turn it into motivation, where we can turn it into reflection, where we can turn it into being okay with asking for help. And I think that's super, super key, where when it comes to love isn't like, gotta be brave, gotta be what people hope and expect me to be, sort of thing. Like don't put expectations on other people. Like, they may not say it at the time, but like that can be very hard for them to be able to receive. They may, you know, someone may say, they'll be like, oh, I love when you do this, this, and this. Yeah, do more of that. I love that. And then the person's like, but I'm not always that. And is it okay with you if I'm not? And I think what we need to be able to do is just be like, I celebrate you for what you are in whatever way you choose to be. Be it, you know, loud and exciting, or quiet and timid and silent. So again, you know, love is being able to see people where they are. And I think there's something that we're still learning here, and how we can love each other. And again, you know, this is why, you know, we do our morning meditations. Like, if we didn't do our morning meditations every Monday, like it's hard for me to imagine what wouldn't be the case. But I know for a lot of us who do turn into those, I'll just say this, and I'll pass it over. Christopher and Shannon, if you guys want to jump in, or Mason, I'm passing it to Mason next. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, our job is to constantly to know the habits and the routine of the self-care that bring us back to our center, and to bring us back to that place of just being connected with the breath, feeling what we need to feel, letting the emotions, the energy and motion, to let them move through us. And that is self-love. You know, self-love isn't trying to force yourself to be happy. It's not trying to force yourself to feel a certain way. It's sitting with whatever emotions you need to feel, and to really just be able to, you know, feel it to heal it. We've all heard that before. So I honor the fact that here within this community, we've created this routine where, you know, be it these podcasts and otherwise, it's a powerful way for us to bring us back to the heart. Because I think we're kind of in this stage where this is why, as community, we need each other, because right now things are so heavy that it can be very challenging for a lot of us, where if we don't have that place to come back to, it's easy for us to get lost. And I think there's a lot of people right now who are lost. They're kind of wandering through these dark woods and they think they're by themselves. They feel like they're by themselves. And so that's where, again, we're kind of like, as stewards, we're kind of like finding people almost like these like lost souls, and we're kind of like here, like, let us, give you a place to feel safe. And so again, I think if I were to say it simply, like, let love feel safe. How do we help others feel safe? That doesn't mean we solve the problems for them. Not right away. But if we can just allow them to be able to be in a space where they can feel safe to feel however they feel. Like, that's the thing. It's not just like feel safe and feel happy. Feel safe enough to feel sad. Feel safe enough to feel scared. Feel safe enough to feel like crying your eyes out. Like, that's okay. Like, we can honor that as a community. And I honor that within each and every single one of you. I think we as a community, we are learning how to do that. We are learning how to grow through that together. And it's these little sacred spaces and these little conversations that happen outside of this podcast, and that's the thing, from week to week here. This isn't just a podcast. This is a story that we are living. It's a story that is unfolding through our life, through our actions. And it's a story of community. It's a story of healing. It's a story of love. It's a story of learning how to be love for ourselves and for others. And we can get better at it. We're great at it, but we can get better at it. We can get wiser at it. We can instinctually know how to be able to like show up in those moments. And again, I just really honor the fact that each and every single one of you are willing to be able to do that. Because it takes courage to be love. Like, sometimes it's easier to just be like, I'd rather not care. And I think we've all been there before. It's just like, this love hurts. This love is stressful. And it's okay. Like, honestly, like, there may be times where, like, this is like speaking from my own nature, where it's like, I'd rather just feel numb right now than pretend like I need to feel love. Like, I don't want it. Like it gets to the point where it's like, ugh, like, I don't want to feel love. Like, it almost becomes like revolting. Sometimes, it's just like, yeah, if you need to step away from that, step away from that. But know that there's always a move you can make. And maybe that's taking a walk in the park, spending time for yourself, putting on some music, listening to a cool song that you like, reaching out to a friend, having a conversation. There's always a move you can make. And again, I think within our own conscious awareness and within community, what we want to be able to do is to be able to hold space to encourage each other, to be able to honor where we feel we need to be at any given moment, but then to be able to know that it is in the process of bringing ourselves back to a rhythm, back to a heart space, back to a center, back to a community, and then through there we kind of continue along, and we navigate the bumps and the twists and turns along the way. Love will not be this clear, straight lift off. It will be like something where it's like rickety and left and right, and we're managing and we're growing. But again, in the challenges are our strengths, and love is perhaps our greatest strength because it is so versatile. And through love, I truly believe that we can overcome anything. Through love, I truly believe that we can overcome anything. Our darkest nights, within our darkest nights, we learn to shine our brightest lights. That's like our axiom here within the community of Light Guardians. So I just honor each and every single one of you. My heart feels so open right now. And it's not like literally just in a way where it's like I'm like, you can feel happy and sad at the same time. My heart breaks. My heart breaks every day. But that breaking is also, again, breaking open, where it's also me stepping into this place where it's just like, what can I do? And whether that just, and I say that, because I know a lot of us are asking that, and that's, taking care of ourselves. But, it's the little things that we do when we show up for each other in community. And I think if each and every single one of us just becomes aware of our radius and becomes aware of the people around us, and if we're all just kind of checking in on each other and reaching out, looking after each other, that's where we create this connection. It's I'll just say this and I'll pass it to Mason. The thing that I think will be our downfall is our disconnection. I think it's okay for someone to take a walk and to come back, or to do whatever they feel need to do. I mean, they don't have to come back, but they can go find something else. But I think, again, you know, it is so powerful for us to be able to maintain connection, some form or another. You're not expected to do it alone, and you don't have to do it alone. And it's okay to ask for help. And it's okay to be, you know, and that's the power of community, where we have a lot of beautiful people here in the community, and a lot of you, like I said, have, you know, developed these relationships and friendships, and you guys know, you know, the highs and the lows of each other's stories at this point, and you hold space for that. And it's just so powerful. And so as a community, you know, let love be the opposite of disconnection. Let it be connection. Let it be seeing. Let it be presence. Let it be celebration. Let it be honoring. Let it be feeling. Let it be healing. So that's just coming from my heart right now. Mason, I'll pass it over to you. We'll like I said, we'll pass the talking stick around just kind of one more time, and then we'll wrap it up for today. Because again, you know, very new moon vibes and everything like that. I feel like, again, you know, right now a lot of us just really need to. It's okay for us to really just kind of focus on, you know, loving ourselves and nurturing ourselves and whatever that means to you. So Mason, I'll pass it over to you. If there's anything you want to say, either replying to earlier stuff or anything I said, please by all means go ahead when you're ready, Mason.
I just want to start by thanking everyone for being here in this group. It feels like so much love that it is overwhelming at times, but when I do get past like the buildup of all the overwhelm and I'm able to sit there and feel it, it's expanding. Like it feels so fresh and new, like new growth. And I'm so grateful for that. And I'm grateful for each one of you being here and being a part of that along with me. And I feel really grateful to be a part as a leading member of this group now. And like just the other day when I stepped up and did my first ever live meditation on Instagram, like that was huge for me. And I had this group that supported me through it and encouraged me, and like I made new connections through that, and I was able to carry that through my week and then go back and watch other people's live meditations throughout the week. And that just being able to expand that out, like outwards, what I feel inwards, was so new. So I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for being a part of this group so that we can all just keep bouncing this love all around. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Mason. Yes, our I've said this before, but I'll just say it again to emphasize. Our love is water for a thirsty world. You know, our love is medicine. Our love is, you know, transformational. So, and like I said, our love is who we are. You know, so we came here to be love, to experience love, and to experience the absence of love in order to be able to know the importance of love as well. Christopher, Shannon, do you guys want to be able to jump in if you feel called to share anything? Go right ahead.
Go first. Yeah, it's so beautiful the amount of vulnerability that this community has with each other. And it's wild to see how overwhelming it is for so many of us to like accept that love when we're like the ones trying to give love out into the world so much. And you know, that's what like real love is vulnerability, and like letting each other see you in your like scaredest point and like your most uncomfortableness, and like still being witnessed and accepted in that is so powerful. And in doing so, you never know who's watching. Like Mason, I listened to your meditation the other day, and I was just kind of like a fly on the wall because CeeLo turned it on, but it like changed my whole morning. And I didn't start listening to the meditations on my own, but CeeLo would put them on, and just hearing this community, like how someone shows up every morning for the crew. Like it's not always the same person. Like Brendon, you started, you held it down, and then like everyone stepped up because they loved being seen and being able to like keep it going, because nobody wants to like miss a day of it. Like on the weekends I'm kind of like, is there a meditation, like who's doing what? um it's just so powerful and so beautiful. And like I had to giggle a lot when everyone was just saying like it's not all fun and games. Like even when you find somebody that's like a partner that you've been with for years after years, like there are definitely days where we just like irk each other's nerves. And
Absolutely.
one of us has to step away. And like we have that in community too. Like what was said earlier was beautiful, and she needed to say it because it shows like how hard it is sometimes to accept love. And that can be a really beautiful and powerful thing.
Yeah, I see all that.
Oops.
Hi, ladies.
I can't. I'm not typing.
But yeah, so I just am so grateful that you've held space for this discussion and
Yeah.
to see so many people grow through it.
Yeah. That is really important and a huge thing. Thirsty World, I really like that. And, you know, everybody here is able to hold their own, you know, space for other people. And it's beautiful to see how this is spreading and how just the peace, the love, the community. Starting my day with the with the meditations has been really nice. You know, listening to everybody, I feel myself really missing a lot of my friends because I think it's been 6 months, maybe more, where I actually went and seen a friend. So I've been feeling like a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, to be honest with you. And so listening to the meditations is something that brings me a lot of peace and calm, and it starts my day off where I just feel, I don't know, feel a lot better. And so it's really nice. I host my own meditations. I got on Insight Timer recently, so I've been hitting up that app, and that's been really awesome. But um, I do see you all, and I think you all are great, and your meditations are amazing, and I'm excited to see you all grow and to hear what kind of meditations you come up with. You're also creative, like Mason's meditation, where you had everybody digging in the dirt and stuff. I was like, dang, like this is so cool and unique, and it's so beautiful. Like diversity is a big thing, and a big thing of love. I think when you love, then you're open to diversity, open to like different kinds of experiences and ones that just make you feel good. And digging my hands in the dirt in my mind just really was like, wow, this is great. So, you know, I'm excited to be part of this community, and I'm just really grateful to see you grow, Brendon. It's been awesome, been an honor. So appreciate being here, and thank you all, and keep doing your thing.
Definitely. Oh, real quick, I want to say that I
Go
love
ahead.
laughter practice. You guys
Mhm.
get me every morning with laughter practice. And I find myself through the day when I get a good laugh in, I'm like, oh, I need to save that for laughter practice so I can like remember that on replay. So I thank you for like introducing that into my world.
Oh, thank you guys. Just any other closing wisdom just related to, you know, soul divine relationships or anything like that? If you guys just like maybe like what do you feel is like the biggest thing that you've learned out of your guys' relationship? Some one of the biggest things or something like that. If you feel need to take a moment to think about that, I can always bring it back to you. So and not to put you on the spot, but if there's any other gems that you want to share.
Just definitely hold space for growth and don't expect somebody to be something they're not. And it's okay if people grow. And, you know, sometimes it's a balancing act to see who's going to be like holding space because like you said we're all trying to be whole, but there's something about a unionship and a partnership where there's a balance to it of holding each other up as well. You're not trying to heal them, you're trying to witness them. But over the 7 years we've seen each other change and evolve so much, like little Pokemon going through their evolutions and changing and powering up and becoming more and more powerful and divine, and you have to hold space for that. You never know what's coming.
Yeah, definitely. I would say one thing is just find something that's really fun that you enjoy that's not on the internet or like on your phone or um like we played the drum earlier today and it was really nice. So something simple and fun and really easy to do where you're like, I don't know what we're gonna do. Wow, this would be nice to do. Let's do that.
Go for a walk
Yeah.
or anything.
Yeah, walks are great.
Awesome. Beautiful, beautiful. So simple but so powerful. So thank you, Christopher. Thank you, Shannon. And again, if you guys are just like I want to listen to more of them, then yes, go check out the Bring Me to Life podcast. Again, you can find it at bringmetolife.com with the number 2. And if you connect to Selomon and Shannon on their Instagrams, you can find the links in their profiles there as well. And yeah, no. And for those of you looking to join in for our team meditations, best way to do that is connect to our Discord channel, and you can find the link for that in the info for this video, tinyurl.com/shift team chat. And that's Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's, again, led by our leading members in our community. So I'll be leading tomorrow morning for Friday, and next week I'll do Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday we got other members of the team. And if you're looking for Masons, just because we mentioned it explicitly, again, Instagram Cosmic Landings to be able to check out the meditation from Wednesday there. And shout out to Mason, and shout out to Maureen, who also did a meditation this week, which was awesome. And shout out to Hypnolution as well, Lauren, one of our other leading members. So got such a beautiful community here, and again, I'm just so proud of you guys. So beautiful. All right, team, let's just go around one more time, and just any sort of wisdom you feel called to share, or even just gratitude related to this topic. And then from there, we'll finish off the little closing meditation, and then we'll wrap it up, and then we'll have a 5-hour-long after party where we'll just sit there and we'll just tell each other that we love each other. So we'll see. I mean, we can totally just keep an after party going for the leading members. So, all right. Who wants to just be able to jump in? Kristen and Lori? Yeah, go ahead. Pass it over to you when you're ready.
Oh no. No. Yeah, no, I wanted to speak on just the beautiful, beautiful, amazing meditations, and how it really is life changing to have a love like this in your life, where, it's like I wake up every day and I know I'm going to get to be around inspiring humans that are showing up and being themselves and learning how to love and learning how to grow, and just the unconditional support and inspiration that you guys share each and every day by just being you in whatever form works for you that day is perfect. Like, whenever you think you might be having like a rough day, or you haven't been online in a week, or whatever your like concerns might be, just know that like we see you for exactly as you are, and love you and cherish you in that moment. And so it's really beautiful for me to know too that like same thing, if I'm like concerned about, oh no, did that weird TikTok I make did it get any views? It's like, I'm gonna be able to know that no matter what weird form I choose to show up in for the day, that I'm gonna be able to be loved and cherished as well. So I just think it's really special and beautiful, and I know it can be really overwhelming and hard to accept at times, but it can be one of the most absolutely rewarding things you can do whenever you learn to love and be loved. So, love you guys. So proud of all the meditations.
Wait, before you go,
Yeah.
so I'll just add on while we got this open. I just want to just express gratitude for this space, and again for all of you. And I agree totally that starting your day off with this community and doing the group meditation, not only is it a powerful thing for yourself to give yourself every day to like do, the inner work or the chakra tuning and the things that you need to do to fill yourself up for the day, but then also to build your community and just feel the love from everybody, to wish each other a happy day, and to hold space when maybe we're not having a happy day. And I did want to just say again, Brendon, thank you for speaking on so eloquently how you did about that, the need to like the feeling of the need to want to like rescue someone when we see that they're hurting, because that really resonated with me, because that is something that I work on as part of my own self-love, because it's not I don't want to take that power to heal and to love, self-love, away from anybody else by trying to save them. And we have to feel those negative emotions sometimes, and it's okay. And that's how we grow. That's how we learn from our feelings, emotional intelligence. Otherwise we're just spiritually bypassing through life, and we can't do that because then we're not conscious. We're not really living, feeling beings. We're just existing. So we have to feel the full scope of emotions. And so I really, really appreciate that you said that, Brendon, because that really resonated with me. So I love you guys all so much. And on the good days, the bad days, on the whatever days, it's nice to have you guys to, to see all the inspiring things that you're doing and all the love and joy that you're spreading throughout the world. So thank you for being you and everything that you do.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Kristen, as well. And to the plushy army behind you. So, yes. Go check out the IG that they put up on Kristen. I think it's on Kristen's, but Lori's got some IGs on there as well. So make sure you guys. Oh, plushy pillow fight going on. So stay tuned within the Paradigm Shift community where we just have more like slumber parties together and stuff like that, basically. So. Anyways, all right, let's keep things moving along here, and then we'll, like I said, we'll just finish off the little closing meditation. So, any gratitude on just like how this podcast, how this discussion has felt for you, or any other additional wisdom that perhaps people listening you'd like to be able to share them with them as well. Oh, it looks like the Queen has woken from her nap, so we'll pass it over to Z. Z, thank you so much for joining in, Z. I'm glad you were able to get some rest during our discussion here tonight as we were ambiently talking in the background. Z, go ahead. All fun aside, thank you so much for being here, and please feel free to share gratitude or on the topic of love and sacred union, anything you feel called to share right now. Go ahead, and good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I can't believe I fell asleep and woke up on this call. This is amazing, but honestly, I feel amazing. I feel so good right now. This is magic. I don't know what you guys, all I can guess, but like I'm just telling you the effects I'm feeling right now of like falling asleep to you guys, to your guys' energy is a thing. And like some things that came up for me is like love is safety. Like it really is. And honestly, like just feeling safe enough and accepted enough and even adored enough to like just be sleeping while you guys do this is so special. Like it's so special. And I really want to express gratitude for this as I wake up now. I'm like, oh my god, is this real life? Like, oh hi guys. Like hi. And and when you guys were talking right now about accepting love, I also want to explain like something that happened recently on Vimeo was that we have this thing called love bombs where we basically spam people with love when they join the app or they're in a Zoom call or something, and then they started a love bomb on Vimeo about me, and it really fucked with my head. Like, like basically, I had so much trouble accepting it. Like, it was so hard. And here we are, like always giving love to each other, and like and then like it was like so overwhelming to get that like love bomb is really a thing, like it's actually like a bomb. I got so triggered and it was so weird for me, and I was like I wanted to like curse you guys out for like a second, but like it definitely happened. I was like, why the fuck are they doing this to me? Like I was upset. And then it's just like more awareness brought to like wow how much we're not normalized to actually receiving love. Like that's what it just like made even more apparent for me. And it's not just love, it's like just good things in general. We're so used to being in traumatized positions or like in a lack that when we do receive it in it, that is also a traumatizing experience. And that's the crazy part. And like realizing that when we up level, whether it's like financially or it's like with the amount of love we're receiving, like that is its own like traumatizing experience. Like that is like its own like push and break, like breaking apart, like to like they were saying earlier, like to be the new level of Pokemon, like growing. It's like it's and it's crazy because you wouldn't think like receiving love would be painful, but actually it is just like both sides of the equation are. Both sides of it are, and that's crazy. That's the crazy part. But then once you get over that pain, like it's just bliss, right? It's just bliss. And you're like at a new level of accepting and receiving and aligning, ultimately aligning. And anyways, so that was something that just occurred to me recently. I was like, this community is everything. It's the microcosm I want to multiply to the world. like like literally. And I will always be thankful. I will always be thankful, and I will always feel indebted and in gratitude, and like just you guys are everything. We attracted each other. Brendon's been working on this for years to create this density of a nucleus that is the world, like the nucleus for the world, in my opinion. um, yeah, that's all. That's all. I'm glad I caught this.
That's perfect. Yeah, no, and I'm glad you woke up right on time, Z. So, like I said, good morning again, and thank you, Z. Thank you again for being an ambassador for this love. So, very powerful, awesome. And again, for those of you who haven't already yet, Vibio app on Instagram and TikTok. Check it out. Learn more about it. You'll watch my presentation if you're interested and stuff like that. But it's a social video media app about being able to create authentic connections and send the love out into the world. So Z's like one of the big leaders on that front. So thank you, Z. It's just, sorry, Z, it's like hard for us to have a regular conversation without mentioning Vibio app. It's like, oh, he's gotta mention it. But no, it's cool. But Z, no, thank you again. And I love what Z, I love what you said, how the word safe, the word safety, I think that's very powerful. Like that in itself is something like just kind of take note of. And as we get close to wrapping things up here, and I would encourage everybody here just in the YouTube chat, just so you'd be able to kind of like reflect within your own heart. When you think of love in a form that for you like lights you up, like something that it's just kind of like makes you smile, in as many words as you choose, what does that, what words relate to that? Not just what it feels like, but what relates to that type of love. So that's where I think, again, like the word safe, the word inspiring, nurturing. I'm not going to say too many of them. I want you guys to kind of take a moment here and just kind of reflect that love that really lights you up, gets you excited and things like that, that feels like so delicious. How would you describe it? What words? Go ahead and write those in the chat and we'll read some of those on air in the next little bit. Again, just finishing off with any closing gratitude. We're past the 3-hour mark, so we're just gonna keep things in nice and tight as we finish things off. And anybody else, just any closing gratitude, we'll pass it over to you. Who would like to be able to jump in? Amanda, we'll pass it over to you when you're ready. Amanda, go right ahead and thank you.
I forgot to mention my love languages earlier. So I'm equally physical touch and quality time, which is literally why I'm in everybody's stuff at all times, because I just want to spend as much time with everybody as possible because I can't do physical touch right now. So I appreciate all of you, and if you see me popping into everybody's stuff, it's just because I love all of you and I just want to share that love with you. So, yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Amanda. Beautiful. Yeah, and again, we hit upon the love languages a little bit earlier, but if anybody here, if you were to just type in 5 love languages, that is something that I invite you to just be able to reflect on and just kind of think about, like what type of love languages do you gravitate towards? Words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, physical touch. So different people kind of have preferences for certain ones of those, and being able to understand which ones we prefer and being able to communicate that to others allows each of us to be able to develop more of that communication and being able to develop the relationship in a way that serves people, knowing that different people have different needs, and that's okay. And the one thing I'll just say about when it comes to love and everything like that is really being able to like celebrate how different we all are, how diverse we all are. It's like walking through a forest and looking at all the different flowers and bugs and butterflies and just being able to say like, wow, like out of all the things in this forest, point to me at the thing that's the most beautiful. Try. Like, what do you do, right? It's just like, it's all beautiful. Like, that shrub is just as beautiful as that bird, as that fish, right? And why do we think that? Again, because, you know, as we get close to wrapping up this podcast, love is this journey of being able to see the divine in all things. It's to be able to see everything as a sacred mirror for you to see yourself in. And in seeing yourself in others, you see the love all around you and you see the love within yourself. So again, you know, that is a powerful way to be able to bring love out into the world, is to be able to see each and every single person, to celebrate them, to honor them, to you know, hold them up, to be proud of who they are becoming, and to just acknowledge the fact that each one of us is a uniquely and equally beautiful expression of love, and to really just be able to create this beautiful mandala together, because we're all so different, and yet at the core of it all, we are ultimately the same. So beautiful. You know, at the heart of it all, we are all love. We are all worthy of love. And how can we bring more of that love into the world for those who need it most, and for those who, you know, are still finding it within themselves as well. So as we turn inwards, we allow ourselves to share that love outwards, and as we look outwards, we allow it to see it inwards. It's back and forth. So okay, team, closing thoughts. Anybody else who wants to be able to jump in? Maureen, Kai, Ren, I'm not sure if Mason wanted to jump in again, but any just closing thoughts, and if not, that's totally fine. We'll just get into closing meditation. Maureen, pass it over to you. Yeah, go right ahead, Maureen.
Sorry, I just wanted to say that I am very grateful for this group as well. I quickly made a lot of connections with so many synchronicities that it's almost terrifying, because we do go through so much so quickly, so many changes. But it is really nice to have so many people to relate to. And I love that you touched on our differences, because this message has come up in my head like 4 times throughout this podcast or throughout this Zoom. And I feel like I have to say that as well. It's beautiful that we all have what is bringing us together, and we all see that we are family, that we are all love, that we are all light. And it's awesome that we're all vibing on our frequency together. But our strengths are in our differences. We already know we're all the same. The important part is our differences. And as we unlock all of these differences, it's going to blow each other's minds. It's going to be really fun. So, yeah, I'm really happy to have met all of you. So, yeah, that's all.
I'm happy to hear that this experience has been so nurturing and enriching for you as well, Maureen. Thank you again for being here. So beautiful. Just going to take a second here just to be able to read some of the words in the YouTube chat from that question I asked a moment ago. Anybody else who just wants, even if you already said something, if you feel like there's just like one more thing of gratitude that you want to be able to pour into this, please, by all means. Does anybody else have any super final closing thoughts? Lauren, no, I wasn't sure if you're, it's up to you. Okay, all right, we'll pass over to Lauren in a second then. Okay, all right, so just some of the words that I was asking, you know, like, what does love in like the form that really makes you smile, what does that feel like? How would you explain that? So some of the words here in the chat: gleeful, a warm embrace, exploring, snuggles, oh, I love snuggles, expansion, safety, lifted up, embraced, birth, creation, freedom, everlasting, sensual, earth angel, Amanda. Oh, I think that was just a message to Amanda. Earth angel, I like that though. Connecting, intimate, caring, touch, quality time, words. Oh, those are the love languages. Words of affection, yes. And life is love. It's poetic, all of it. Safe, heard, living, celebrate, moon and stars visible. And the word that I put earlier was magical and psychedelic was the word that I put in there as well. And I say psychedelic not just in like the entheogenic sense, but literally in the sense of like the seeing the godness in all things. You know, the word like psychedelic, it's like psyche, delos meaning God, psyche meaning mind, being able to see the God through the mind of all things, something along those lines. So love is very psychedelic. Life is very psychedelic. And again, you know, I think at the core of it all, love is magic. Love, I honestly think that love is more magical than we even fully realize. And I want you to kind of like sit with that, because like right now, here we are within this like 3D experience, integrating this 5D awareness. We're you know, moving through some very powerful shifts in consciousness. But it's like, what does love look like outside of this reality that we're used to, right? Like imagine like the warmest, most embracing, magical, golden, warm, beautiful hug that you could possibly fathom. Now imagine that times a million. And that's what the universe has inside of you at all times. It's tapped in. It's literally tapped in. So it's like, it's almost as if like the true energy of love is something so profound that it actually has to kind of like filter itself in order for it not to be so overwhelming. Which I think I think we experience that, where it's like love, you know, at times can, we've talked about this tonight, can actually feel like a little bit overwhelming. So I think again, you know, just but more so what my point is that, you know, this love, it is magic. It is magic in the truest form, beyond what we're still opening our mind up to and everything like that. And just to get close to finishing off, I'll pass it to Ren in a second, but we are so loved. So loved. Like you right now, like I really want you to listen to me. I don't want you to just listen to me as if I'm Brendon talking, like literally, like listen to me as if I am the universe talking. You are so infinitely loved. Like imagine right now, like you're standing somewhere, and imagine like a ring of circles of like your guides and your ancestors and your guardians, and they're like standing here, and they're just like, and they're always there with you. Always, like just the depth of this love is like so important. And we had to go through this journey where again, we kind of, it trickles in. We almost had to forget that this love was so ever present. But it's something that we can open up to, you know, even just as an idea, just to be able to really be able to feel that. And you know, without, you know, waking up in the morning before you jump on a live meditation, or before you get a message from your friend saying like, hey, good morning, I love you. Wake up in that morning and just kind of like connect with the universe, connect with the godness within yourself, and just take a moment to remind yourself of like how much love you are constantly being able to receive in all parts of your journey. The universe so deeply loves you, and it is you, wants you to grow. You are growing, and it's proud of you, and we're here for you. All of us, like not just me, like all of us, like the realms beyond this realm. Like it's so freaking profoundly bigger than what we even realize. But I think a lot of us are starting to remember. So Ren, I'll pass over to you, and then we'll get into a closing meditation unless anybody else wanted to be able to jump in. Ren, did you still want to jump in real quick? Any closing gratitude or any closing thoughts? Go ahead. Yeah.
Just closing gratitude for everyone watching, everyone in this space, everyone that shows up every day, whether it's in these chats or they're just showing up in general for their own selves. You're seen, you're validated, you are loved, you're special. This world would not work and coexist the same way if you were not here. And I think a lot of people forget that, but it's like it would literally be a different world if you weren't existing. I just wake up every day, I think, especially since all this started, like just grateful to be alive. Like I'm like, if I feel myself getting in a bad mood, I'm like, no, like I'm alive, and that's enough sometimes. And I think that in itself is beautiful because like, yeah. So I just want to say how grateful I am for everyone in this space, everyone that's watching this, everyone that is not even in this space, and just being themselves and trying and getting up every day to try. And that's what's most important. So I love you all, and I think you're all amazing. And yeah.
Thank you, Ren. So I want to take a moment here to read Kaylee, one of our leading members who's in the audience on YouTube tonight, says, she's quoting the universe here, says, "And the universe said, I love you because you are love." And I think that's very, very profound. Kaylee, thank you for sharing that, and really sums up. And that's what it is, you know, like literally, like you can't be anything but what you are, which is love. And again, like it's okay. Like love is full spectrum. Love is the journey. Love is the growth. Love is the highs. Love is the lows. Love is the learning. Love is the dance. Love is the excitement. Love is love. And you are that. And that is what you are. And so when we open ourselves to being able to receive that, again, you know, it allows us to share it. And I think that is the journey, you know, and through sharing, we learn to receive. And so I honor every single person, wherever you are on your journey. We do not expect you to go at a pace that is anything but your own. And so honoring where you are, taking one step at a time, and just knowing that you are loved along the way. And you have a beautiful, beautiful community in this dimension and beyond here to help support you on that journey. And we love you. We love you. Truly, truly. So anybody else feel really called to share just before we move into meditation? I feel quite accomplished with this discussion tonight. So with that said, we'll get into a little closing meditation. We'll just finish off with some gratitude. We do this at the end of each circle, just to close off the circle. And yeah, thanks again, everyone, so much for being here. For those of you in the YouTube chat, please feel free to leave your gratitude, but you can wait until after we do the little meditation. So just inviting everyone to get nice and comfortable. So grab a drink of water if you need it. When you're ready, go ahead and gently close your eyes. And you may instinctively already want to put your hands on your heart, on your chest. And just allow yourself to maybe just straighten up your posture. Open up your chest, relax your face. Really just connect with your breath. Soft, gentle inhales. And soft, gentle exhales. And with each inhale, just allow yourself to inhale the receiving of this love, of this knowing. So you inhale love, gently soft exhale. Then you inhale love again, gently soft exhale. If you feel like you need to release anything on the exhale, feel free. So just allowing yourself to be able to bring yourself into this heart space, into this gratitude, thanking yourself for showing up, for being a part of this discussion, honoring the part of your soul that said, hey, I need to tune in for this podcast today or listen to the recording. And if you did, just take a moment here to thank yourself. Because in doing so, we know that and we hope that it helps open your heart. Opens your heart to the love that you are worthy of receiving. To the magic that you are. And also to that calling. To know that you are here for a purpose. And your purpose is one of knowing yourself as love in the beautiful form that you are and are exploring. And also to be able to share that love, be able to bring it out into the world around you, to the relationships that you share, to the sacred unions that you cultivate. And so as you just honor yourself in gratitude for showing up to this call, just bringing ourselves back to that visualization of all of us just sitting in a circle. And you can imagine all of us as if literally right now we're like physically in the same spot. Sitting in a circle, and you can imagine all of us just taking this moment to just kind of look at each other. And you're just kind of gently making eye contact with each person around the circle. And just allowing a gentle smile to come across your face. You're just kind of giving them like gentle nods. And as you do, you're just kind of like saying in your heart, you're just like, yes, I see you. And I am love with you. I see you, I am love with you. Anything else you feel called to communicate in this moment. And just allow yourself to be able to receive this beautiful love, beautiful energy, knowing that the energy that we cultivate here as a team is something that you can carry with you. And this visualization on the days where you feel you need to, just bring yourself back to this space. And just to know that you are not alone. That there is a beautiful community, a team. This beautiful team of badass spiritual superheroes, whatever we want to call ourselves, shifters, light guardians. We're doing it together. We're doing it through the exciting times, and we're holding space through the challenging times. But whatever it is, we can choose to make that choice to do it together. In whatever way that looks like. So honoring our path as individuals, and just being able to hold in our heart the potential of being able to support each other as a community. So we'll just take a few more moments here, and then we'll get close to wrapping it up. So just within this moment, I want you to just be in your own heart space, just be in this silence. You don't need me to talk throughout this entire thing. I want you to be able to feel what this feels like when the only voice you're hearing is the voice within your heart. And so in this moment, whether you're speaking words of kindness to those in the circle, or you're simply just listening to the words being received in your heart, be it from the idea of the circle or maybe just the universe itself, the guides who are with you. Take a few moments here. Feel this love. Feel this vibration. Be in this space. Just allow yourself to be this love. Take a few moments here. Go ahead. Gently breathing here. You can imagine almost like a little love meter. You can feel it filling up. It's like filling up. It's like 75%. Now it's at like 80%. Breathe a little bit more. No, now it's at like 90%. Breathe a little bit more. Breathe in that love. Nice soft exhale. So love fills your heart all the way up to 100%. All the love you need is right here. Whatever that means to you. So just taking this moment to be able to express your gratitude to all the other amazing, beautiful people who are a part of this broadcast. Sending that love out to those of us who have been tuned in through the Spotify and through the YouTube audience. Sending love to all beings. All beings. Just expressing that gratitude. And we'll just close it off with taking this opportunity. What's one phrase that you want to just say to people? One phrase in this moment, something you feel inspired to say, something to speak to the heart of all beings, something perhaps in theme with tonight. What do you want to say to them? Take a moment here to just be able to reflect. What do you say to them in this moment? Beautiful. Gently from here, just imagine all of us just gently standing up. We'll all just come together and we'll all just do a big group hug together. And maybe if you're happen to be sitting next to someone, I know some of us are, you guys are welcome to maybe share a hug with each other in this moment. And you can gently wrap your arms around you guys. Just imagine in this moment, all of us just in this beautiful like cinnamon roll hug, this beautiful great big hug, and just add a little bit of a gentle sway and just really just breathe. Just breathe. To the point where in this moment, it's almost as if like our individual forms just kind of dissolve. And in this moment, beyond our physical form, we feel what it feels like to just be love. To feel what it feels like to be the drop returning to the ocean. Take a moment here and just breathe out a little gentle sway. And you can imagine all of us, and we'll just take a moment here. Let's just all synchronize our breath. We'll just take a few moments here and then we'll wrap it up. But I want you to experience this. We're going to synchronize our breath. So just follow my lead. Just take an inhale, exhale on your own. Get ready. And then join in together. And we'll start off with a gentle inhale. So we'll start that now together. Gentle inhale, nice and deep through the nose and the mouth. Nice soft exhale through the nose and the mouth. Inhale. Exhale. Almost feels like an ocean wave. Inhale. Exhale. Don't think, just feel. Inhale. Exhale. Just do a few more. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more, nice and gentle. Inhale. Gentle exhale. When you're ready, you can gently release your hug. If you want to hold it for another moment, or if you feel like you're ready to release it, go ahead and do that now. Just feeling this lightness within your heart, just feeling this love fill your being, and let you just carry this feeling with you beyond this moment. May you be a little bit lighter in your step. May you see the world and it might look a little bit brighter. May you continue to nurture your own heart and honor where you are, and continue to show up for others how you can. Gently imagining our beautiful group hug just slowly releasing. You can take a moment here, just go up and give some individual hugs to all the different people, some of the speakers on tonight's discussion. Anybody who maybe said something that you really resonated with, just going up to them and sharing a big hug if you wish. And feel free to come up and give me a hug. And as always, I thank you once again for being here, and I remind you how proud I am of you for choosing to be here, choosing to carry this energy with you. The shift is something that you carry with you. So thank you for holding it. Thank you for carrying it. So allow ourselves to hold this space within our heart, knowing that we can return back to it any time. Adding a little bit of a gentle smile to our face if we wish. Maybe returning our hand to our heart. You are safe. You are seen. You are worthy. You are love. And we are love with you. When you're ready, we're gently going to bring our awareness back to our physical body as we carry this love, carry this vibration. Continuing to gently breathe. And slowly, gently bring your awareness back to your physical body as you wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, and gently open your eyes. And return your awareness to the space around you. Beautiful. Now let's all just take a moment here to just look at each other. Don't even have to say anything. We'll just look at each other for a little bit. Beautiful. How are you guys feeling right now? Go ahead and just gently unmute your mic. Just like words. Just words. 1 or 2 words. How are you guys feeling right now? Mics are open.
Cherished.
Joyful.
Beautiful.
Present.
Well,
Emotional.
Energetic.
Feel like tired and love drunk.
Yeah, love drunk. That's a good word. Love drunk. We're all love drunk right now.
Love drunk is accurate.
Yeah.
Warm and fuzzy.
Baby love drunk.
You remember that song?
I think we just made it up, but yeah. Deja vu times 1000.
Feels that way.
Home. Feels like home.
Hmm.
Beautiful.
This is
Awesome.
definitely home.
Well, thank you guys again so much for being here. I love you guys. We love you for all the people tuned in. We love you guys.
Love you guys. Bye. Love you.
Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, I'll just officially close it off. So thank you again, everybody, for joining in, for being a part of this discussion. As always, if you're looking to connect further with this community, be sure to connect to our Discord. That's the best way to be able to join in for our team meditations that you heard so much about during this episode. That's Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Connect to the Discord server. You can find the link in the YouTube info. It's also through my profile link on Instagram and TikTok at all times. And again, if you want to be able to join on the Patreon, that's where you can get involved with these ongoing team podcasts or creative work periods for conscious creators, full access to the Discord, discount for the item shop, and just, again, another opportunity to really connect with some beautiful, amazing creators and amazing people in some really, really magical ways. And we look forward to being able to have you back here once again for our next team podcast, which will be next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to connect with all the creators here. If you refresh the link, for those of you tuned in live, check back in like 2 minutes and refresh the link, and you'll find all the info in the YouTube. And yeah, please feel free to send them a direct message, reach out to them. A lot of them got awesome stuff that you guys are welcome to connect with as well. And we thank you so much for being here. And yeah, thank you for being the love and honoring the sacred union of the heart, the mind, and the body and the spirit. And it's a beautiful community that we're creating here together. So beautiful. All right, with that said, we're gonna wrap it up, and then leading members, let's get ready. We got after party, 5-hour after party happening after this. We'll see. Taco party, yeah. So for those of you in the YouTube chat, please feel free to just leave your comments, and do me a favor, jump over to the Discord afterwards and leave some comments there, and just say how this broadcast was for you, any feedback. And for those of you who are new to the Discord, send me a direct message on Instagram at Mystic Spider-Man to get access to the public channel there as well. And all the links are in the YouTube info. So beautiful. All right. Thank you again, everyone, so much for joining in. Leading members, please feel free to join me as we say farewell and until next time. So good night, everyone. Until next time, we love you guys. We love you guys.
And whatever sound a taco makes.
Taco sounds. Beautiful.
Crunch.
Love you guys. Until next time, much love. Keep it shifty, and welcome to the future.
Welcome.
Bye. Love you. Hey.
Special thank you to Danny Leonardo, whose music is featured at the beginning and end of this podcast. Be sure to check out more of Danny's work in the YouTube info below. Thank you, Danny.